Hello, I'm John, the executive producer here at Final Show Films. I got a few notes for you before the show. First, I want to thank you all for watching. We couldn't do what we do or the amount of things that we do without the support of you, the viewer. If you want to support us financially, which we always appreciate, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, where you can donate as little as $1 a month to help us continue this and all the things that we do. I want to give a special shout out to our $25 supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. Second, I want to let you all know that we here at Final Show Films are planning a little get-together up at Gen Con this year. That's August 2nd through 5th up at Indianapolis. We're going to be up there just sort of hanging out, enjoying the con, spending time together, and if any of you guys want to come up and say hi, please feel free. We don't bite unless you want us to. And if you enjoy whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to, be sure to check out our website at finalshowfilms.com, where you can find links to all of our other content, both podcast and video. And be sure to follow me at John A. Bates on Twitter for more updates on all of the content we're creating in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. We're live!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the season finale of Werewolf the Apocalypse, West Rising. When last we left our heroes, they were preparing to take on a pack of black spirals in a sewer with their traitorous cairn warder. Let me introduce our players for this evening and every evening. Let's start with Jack. Oh, I'm Michelle, the storyteller, in case you don't know that by now. And if you don't, like, where have you been? Why are you tuning in the season finale out of nowhere? Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and I play Tig Connolly, the Fianna Ragabash.
And Craig.
Hi, I'm Craig. I'm playing Grudek, the Galliard Bonar.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm playing Thistle, the child of Gaia the Urge, who is very, very stressed by this.
And John.
I'm John, I'm playing Shadow, the Gedefenris Arun, who is going to finally get to do Arun things.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing C, the Uctana Philodox.
Okay, so for the moment, it's Sunday morning. We're still at the cairn, and a couple of you had little conversations you needed to have before we head down to battle in the city this evening. So let's start with Thistle. Did you figure out what Z wanted to say?
Yeah. So hopefully when none of the party is looking, just slide over to find wherever Morning Cloud is.
She's currently working in the garden, staking some tomatoes or something.
Yeah, I'll give her a nod and sort of jerk my head to indicate that I was hoping to speak privately.
She nods back and just starts walking off toward a somewhat overgrown area of the cairn grounds and disappears behind bushes, and assuming that you're following.
Yep, I will probably take a slightly different route to follow.
Okay. And she just waits there for you.
I just wanted to update you on how things are progressing.
She just nods and looks at you with those sad, dark eyes.
Okay. And Thistle will sort of explain. It seems like the plan has shifted slightly. Hey, Pack and some others are going to head into the city to corner the black spirals where they are, while others remain behind to guard the cairn. It seems like Tim is going with us, and that he intends to. He expects to die in the fight. Let's say.
Good.
I don't know for sure, but it does seem like he may have talked to Marchlion about this.
All right. Well, I will not slander his name after he is gone, but nor will I mourn him knowing what he's done.
Yeah. I, um, we are hoping your son will be there and be fine, but it just seems really unlikely at this point.
I thought I mourned him before he was ever born, but these things surprise us in the way they make us feel sometimes. Pray to Gaia for his safe return, but I will not hold up too much hope.
I understand.
And I hope that Gaia will protect you and your pack as well, because I know how important you are.
And, yeah. Thank you.
Put yourself at unnecessary risk. Let your father do that.
He's my kin, my family. Even if it's nothing I did. This is my tribe, and I intend to prove that we're worthy of being here, even if some of us have made mistakes.
I understand. And fate will show us who is worthy and who is not, I suppose.
I'll make sure C comes back at least. I know you need him.
Yes, we need him very much.
I'll sort of give a somewhat respectful bow nod thing and head out.
Okay. And then, Tig, you wanted to track down Hannah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She doesn't arrive until a little bit later in the day, but you guys have plenty of time. Everybody's just training and, preparing. They're starting to lay traps around the entrance to the cairn and stuff. There's an attack on the cairn while you guys are away. Everybody's all day working on finding ways to protect the cairn and getting ready for the battle tonight. So there's plenty of time for you to wait for Hannah to show up, which she does mid-morning. And she comes in. One of the cairn guardians, Four Eyes, the theurge, has her, she's on his back as he makes it over the boulder in Krynos form, and then he, sets her down. She dusts herself off. Her entrance is, fairly noticeable because there's only one way in, and you always can see when someone comes barreling in over that boulder.
Okay. But even for people just showing up, it's probably pretty apparent that we are rigging for storm.
Yeah,
at
there's
this
people
point,
actually
right?
digging pits and stuff by that boulder.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And filling them with nasty stuff. And so it's really quite an interesting scene. So she's kind of looking around, but her face is impassive as usual as she takes everything in. And she's sort of heading in the general direction of her mother's cabin, and easy to intercept.
Hi, Anna.
Oh, Tig, what's going on?
We're getting ready to go see if we can clean up the city a bit. Just trying to make sure that everything's taken care of and secure back here on the home front before we head out and ruin some people's days.
It's like they're setting up quite a defense here as well.
Aye.
Are you going or are you staying?
Me and my pack will be frontline with your ma, Tim, a couple of the others.
Oh, I don't think my mother will be going, but I'll talk to her about it. I'm surprised they'd send you. I thought 5 of you were important. Prophecy or something.
And as far as that goes, I'm starting to get the impression that nobody's too important when threats are concerned, and honestly, your ma going was just a rumor I heard. Might not be happening. I don't know.
Well, she is the sept leader, so I don't imagine she's quite as disposable, and I wouldn't have thought that you would be either, but it's not my place. Was there something you needed?
And Tig will get very awkward.
She just sort of tips her head.
Just wanted to at least say what a fine time I've had with your company before I headed off.
Oh, is this some
No.
tragic goodbye? Don't do that.
Well, tragic's a bit of an overstatement, I think. Just
You're not going to get yourself killed. You're not
well, not
going
on
to
purpose. God's nigh.
All right.
But me dad always says, the whole battle plan, surviving first contact with the opponent and such like, and given that we've apparently got some great and wonderful destiny ahead of us, hopefully that's gonna give us a bit of backup should there be any unforeseen incidences, but
Yes.
fuck,
Well,
I just,
I'm honestly terrible at this sort of scene. So if you're looking for an emotional farewell, you might want to find Estrella.
it was more along the lines of I wanted to ask. What are you doing next weekend?
Approximately the same thing I'm doing this weekend. I'm dividing my time between studying and doing work around the cairn. Why?
Next day off, what would you think if I could borrow a vehicle and we go out for a meal or a drink or something?
She, like, for the first time since you've met her, she has an expression on her face other than just complete calm composure, and she's just laughing. You can't tell if she's delighted or like amused as hell or some combination of both.
He'll take either at this point.
Oh, you're adorable. How old are you again?
17?
Oh,
I mean, that's old enough to drive in this country, isn't it?
oh, darling. Oh, well, I'm 23. You know that, right?
Aye. I've done
All
my
right.
research.
Well, all right. If you survive this, I will go out on a date with you, all right? As long as my mother says it's all right, which she will because you're the son of the sept leader in Ireland, and all right. Yes, I will go on one date with you, but that's all I'm promising, all right?
It's more than I was expecting, honestly.
And if I have a terrible time, I'm never going out with you again, so I'm just laying this out.
All right.
All right.
All right. You've made your standards clear now.
Priorities. All right, I have to talk to my mother, so I hope that's satisfactory for you.
Aye, I think it is. Hope it's satisfactory for you as well. All right, now I need to go and do destiny things, I think, or something.
All right, well, good luck with that, darling. And she heads toward her mother's cabin with just one more peal of absolutely delighted laughter.
The sound of a whip cracks in the distance.
And Ty grins and heads off to wherever he's supposed to be next.
So now he has to survive because he has a
Yes, he
date
does.
with the
Yes, he
sept
does.
leader's daughter.
Mm-hmm. Go big or go home. And he's not allowed to go home yet. So,
All right. So I assume that's all we need to take care of before this evening's rendezvous.
We don't need to take up time with it, but I do want to point out Grudek would go and just spend a little time with the kids before they leave. Not saying anything big or alarming to them, but just spending a little time hanging out.
Okay.
And we'll give each of them a hug before he leaves.
And then also at some point during the day, he and Tim go down to Tim's little park ranger office and they have a conversation with Greta, which is extremely awkward. Tim is just like, you can almost see his hackles rising the entire time. He's talking to her, but he's trying to keep himself under control. But they agree on a place to meet. There's a bar near that intersection where everybody's going to meet, neutral territory. And then at around 1 a.m., they are going to leave the bar and head to the. Actually, no, the bar is right outside the perimeter where they've closed off traffic because the bar right on the section, nobody can get to it. So,
Okay.
and then plan to meet their strategy, and then 1 a.m. and go on the attack. And Tim mutters on the way back about how he wouldn't be half surprised if they get there and there's an ambush because vampires are in league with the Black Spirals, and then how no the Nosferatu want the sewers back. So, all right. So, just before midnight, everybody.
Sorry, Michelle, you're cutting out. We didn't hear any of that.
I did.
I didn't
heard
hear
it
any
this
of it.
time.
I didn't,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
audience didn't hear any of it. Let me put it that way.
Oh.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's just occasionally like I at least lose a few words.
You are a little stuttery on my end too.
Yeah, that's
Weird
unfortunate.
because I'm not hearing it at all.
Huh. I don't know what that is then. Anyhow, a little bit before midnight, Tim has everybody's taking a couple of cars down to the city, and a little before midnight, you start to, in twos and threes, wander into this bar, which is otherwise not particularly populated, because it's not a very nice place. And there's like a booth in the back, and there are the 5 of you, plus in the other car there is Tim and Silver Glare and Rips, and Cher, of all people, insisted on going, and Bridge Runner. So besides you, there are 5 other Garou, and everyone else has stayed to defend the cairn. And so yeah, and then would Greta be there first, or is she coming in later?
She probably would be there waiting for them.
Okay, so she'd be there with, but her companions are not, as they
Right.
lack the power to appear human. All right, so Tim went in a vehicle with the 5 of you, and the other 4 in a different car. So he walks into the bar with you guys, and Grudek, tell them what they see sitting in the back booth.
In the back booth, in a fairly drab overcoat and broad-brimmed, old-fashioned sort of felt fedora, is a woman who looks almost exactly like the actress Haley Atwell,
Nice.
who played Agent Carter.
Yep.
And she is sitting in the back and just sort of watching as people come in. And as soon as Grudek comes in, at least, she'll wave at him and the others.
And Tim looks visibly surprised by her appearance. Like, one might even say stunned and slightly distracted. And he sort of clears his throat awkwardly. You Greta? He says to her.
Yeah, I'm Greta. You must be Tim. We spoke on the phone earlier. You're Rick, sweetie. You look lovely as always.
Once he hears the voice, he like gets a look on his face like, oh, yeah, that's her, all right. And he sits as far away from her as he can possibly sit at the booth.
She smiles a little bit and she says, "What, you think you lupines are the only one with bags of tricks? Come on."
So I assume this is not your usual appearance.
She says, "Are we going to start asking about usual appearance here?" And she looks around significantly at Tim and at the others.
All right. The others should be here in just a moment, and the little door, dings as it swings open, and in comes Silver Glare, followed closely by Rips, who's sort of looming over her, actually looking every bit like the, white supremacist thug that you don't want to see in a bar. And Cher sort of slinks in behind him, looking mischievous, and Bridge Runner is last and looking glum and sulky as usual. And they all sit down, crowd into the booth, all of them trying not to touch Greta at all.
What's
Cher
the
ends up
smell like?
in the bar.
No, from Greta.
Like old, not old as in out of date, but like old-fashioned Chanel perfume.
If it's being indicated that we should sit as well, I will sit right next to Greta.
Okay. So
This will
Shadow
sit
ends up
next to
getting kind of
Shadow.
squeezed in there.
Clearly not being cautious, but more fascinated with the vampire than adverse in any way. Like,
And there's not quite enough room for the 10, even though it's a huge booth, there's not quite enough room for the 10 of you. So some people drag chairs over and sit nearby.
Tag's looking over his
C will
shoulder
sit
to
in the
see.
chair.
Tag's looking over his shoulder to see if this place also serves food.
It does not look like they do at this hour. Like there's maybe one person working there, and he looks really annoyed that there's any customers at all. And he comes over and like takes drink orders, but has this look like, please don't order anything complicated. I'm like so close to out of here.
I'll have a Guinness, mate.
All right. He takes orders from the rest of you and shuffles off. And there's a few more extremely drunk customers in there who are loud enough, even though there's like 3 of them all together and one of them isn't even with the other 2. They're still loud enough that it covers some of your conversation. And Tim sort of looks around and waits for everybody to settle. And then he says, all right, are you guys ready to talk strategy?
Mm.
All right. So there's 4 tunnels. They're not exactly oriented to the compass points, but close enough that we're calling them north, south, east, and west. The area that we're going to be infiltrating is about 25 feet in diameter. The ceiling is high enough that you shouldn't have any problem, regardless of what you should choose to do. What we're going to do is our world bearers, we're going to split them up among the 4 tunnels because they can communicate and give coordinated instructions, even when separated. So we're going to rely on them to inform everybody in the other tunnels of when to move. The south tunnel is going to be the first to move. We're going to have Shadow and Rips and C in the south tunnel in that order. Very first person and the last person in line have very important jobs in each tunnel. Shadow, your job is to get their attention.
okay, now I'm missing you.
I think what you said was Shadow's job is to get their attention.
Shadow's job is to get their attention. Get all of them moving toward the south tunnel with their backs to the rest of the area. Rips will be right behind you to back you up. See, your job is block that tunnel. No one gets past you. You can move a little bit away from the tunnel if you want to do a little fighting, but your main job is to keep anyone from leaving the south tunnel. Once you see the tunnels, you'll know exactly what I mean. They won't be able to get past you if you are in the mouth of that tunnel. There's just not enough room. So if you see anybody heading for the south tunnel, your job is to fill it up. Okay,
Done.
so that they have to kill you to get out of there. But Rips and Shadow will be ahead of you. North tunnel, across from you. Coming in behind will be me first. Will be the second to move in. Me, followed by Cher. And Thistle, you're going to be guarding that tunnel.
Got it.
Okay, no one gets past you. Then East and West come in last. Greta, you're first in line in the East tunnel. your friends will be behind you, and then Grudek, you come in the rear in the east tunnel. Nobody gets out the east tunnel. That is your job. You hold that tunnel with your life. You understand?
Of course, yes. I will guard it and make sure that no one passes.
All right.
And don't worry about us. We know what we're doing. We'll get in front, and we'll come in and rip it up as best we can.
And do you have the weapon we spoke about, Greta?
I do. I was only able to get the one. I'm going to be keeping that myself. But my friends are no slump in a fight either.
All right, just be careful where you point that thing.
Don't worry. You be careful where you point those things. And she points towards his entirely human hands.
West Tunnel. Silver Glare is coming in at the front. Tig, you're right behind Silver Glare. Bridge Runner, you're holding that tunnel. Okay? Now, Thistle and Bridge Runner, obviously, part of your job as you stand there, I want you standing in the mouths of those tunnels and keeping an eye on who needs healing. All right? Question?
Tig visibly relaxes now that he hears he's not at the back.
Questions? Thistle, you looked a little uncertain.
Give me a second to confirm.
Okay.
Okay, so this might be slightly a mechanical question first. So I'm just directing it generally at our GM and our rules lawyer.
Okay.
Mother's Touch is a touch spell?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But yeah, the area is pretty small, so if you do need to dash out and heal somebody, you should still be able to, keep an eye on the tunnel as well.
Okay.
It's like 25 feet in diameter, and there's going to be, something like 15 Garou and giant monsters fighting in the middle of it, so it's not going to be like cavernous space with everyone, you know what I mean? So
no, I'm used to cities. I'm fine.
Okay. So, and did Thistle have an in-character question for Tim, or no?
No, that was Aaron's question.
Okay.
Let me just confirm that I understand how my healing spell works. But Thistle will, at this point, just generally across the mind link with a little bit of, see any addendums, additions, concerns?
The plan is good for now. Just remember, we're making sure everyone gets out alive.
Right, of course.
And then
Riddick, I assume your friends know that I can't, your acquaintances, friends, know that I can't heal vampires.
You are muted, sir.
We lost Grudek there.
There we go. Sorry. Over the mind link, Grudek says, yes, there's no expectation of that.
Okay. I'm not trying to be prejudiced. It's just my magic doesn't work that way.
I think even if you were to try, it would be the first example I've ever heard of. As long as we don't start ripping them apart, they'll be satisfied.
Okay, cool.
And while you guys are talking over the mind link, some of the other Garou are asking Tim clarifying questions and stuff, so it sort of covers your little mental huddle there. Any other questions, says Tim, looking around at everybody.
I have a question of the GM. What's the moon tonight?
Waning Gibbous.
Okay.
Everyone gets at least one back, right?
Yes.
For Waning Gibbous, you get you're pretty much all going to have full rage because you don't have that much. So you should all have full rage.
For some
Because-
reason, mine was marked at 1 out of 2, so I wanted to check.
Okay. Um,
Greta actually does have one question.
okay.
She says, listen, I know probably due to the armament that we talked about earlier, that's why you want me to go in first. I don't want you to think we're up to anything, but in the moment, just because of my own, let's say, personal style of approach, I might have one of the young bloods go in first. Make sure you're okay with that, big guy.
You know them better than I do, so if you think one of them can handle it better, just understand that the job of the people going in first is to do as much damage as quickly as possible, which is why I've got our warriors at the head of the line. So I assumed that you were given your weapon, that you were probably the most capable warrior of the 4 of you, but if not, send in whoever's going to do the most damage.
Look, sweetheart, I'm about 60 years too old for flattery, but if the goal is damage, fine. I just want to make sure you're not looking for us to draw any attention, because the young, loud ones do better at that than I do.
You'll be coming in from the side. You'll be flanking them. Shadow will be attracting about as much attention as anyone possibly could. They know him, so that's going to be, well, one of their pack leader knows him. So they will be thoroughly distracted.
She turns and looks at Shadow, realizes she's looking at Shadow's shoulder, looks up at Shadow, and says,
Turn and look down.
All right, yeah. So I see that style of approach. Yeah, okay, no problem. Then I'll go in first.
And then I'll be coming in from behind, which means probably about half of them will turn around 180 to deal with me. And then third, the 2 of you come in from the side. So by that point, a lot of the heat will be off of you.
Tim, if you don't mind me asking, just a wee bit of a question. Now, I'm pretty sure that after about 3 seconds of this, they're going to realize they're kind of heavily outnumbered and be looking for an escape. And in the event that, well, you got 2 healers also on door duty, as it were. So somebody gets hit and the healers come in to try and get them back on their feet. That's... What I'm asking is, do you want a couple of us assigned on flex to take over blocking duty when that happens?
Both you and Cher, I'm assuming, will be very mobile during the battle. So can I count on the both of you to keep an eye on the situation? And if one of our gate guards happens to fall or otherwise be incapacitated, it'll be your job to replace them. But I didn't put you there to start with because you are not the stand and fight type of fighters. I wanted you mobile and in the center, moving around and doing your thing. Same with the warriors. I want you moving freely. So those of you that are more needing to be watching the whole situation, I placed you in the mouth of the tunnel. And hopefully you'll be able to keep your eyes on the battle and also communicate with each other in the moment. But yes. However, I want to be very clear that unless you are dead, if your job is to guard one of those tunnels and anyone gets past you, that is on you. That is your one job, is make sure no one gets out the tunnel you're assigned to. And if you are not dead, then, and that's just how it's going to be.
Speaking of keeping an eye on the situation, what are we thinking visibility is going to be like down there?
Almost none.
Good to know.
Yep. When we go in, there's going to be water. We're going to have to move very, very slow on the initial approach, unless we want to give away our position early. Luckily, scent is not going to be a problem. Once you go down there, you'll understand what I mean. They're not going to smell us coming. I recommend moving in whatever form you feel is most likely to help you move silently through, not deep water, but enough water that it would make a sound if you just go splashing through there. So we're going to move very slowly and silently through the water. And I will. I'm going to have Shadow be the one to give the signals of when each tunnel moves in. Shadow is going to go first, then he's going to give the order for Thistle will let me know when it's time for our side to move in, and then third, Shadow will give the order to the other two tunnels, to Grudek and Tig, and they'll give the orders to their people to move in. Thistle, did you have another question?
No.
Okay. Everybody good to go?
Aye.
And I'm going to lead the north tunnel to our entrance. I've briefed Greta on how to find the way to the east entrance. Rips is going to show Shadow and see where the entrance to the south tunnel is. And Bridge Runner, you can show Tig and Silver Glare where the west tunnel is. All right? We good?
I
Can't hear you, Craig.
There, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. And if there's any bits left over, assuming we're not crossing any boundaries, we'll take care of the cleanup.
Much appreciated. Not really our area.
Don't worry, we're very good at making things disappear.
All right.
Oh, and in terms of light, if you're going to do anything really bright, you owe us at least a brief warning.
All right. It's probably best for everybody that we don't overdo the lighting. I don't think that gives anyone a particular advantage. We're mostly Guru and have similar sensory perceptions to each other, so there's not a lot of advantage in lighting things up for us, because then it's just as easy for them to see as it is for us. So we're just going to go in and mostly there's a tiny bit of light just from natural light coming in through cracks and everything, and it should be enough once our eyes adjust, especially if we're in Krynos or Hispo form. We should be able to see well enough to tell friend from foe, and yeah. But it's going to be pretty dark, but by the time we get to the central chamber, our eyes should have adjusted well enough that we'll do all right.
All right, then.
All right. I just want to thank all of you for volunteering to do this. It takes courage, and I understand you all have different reasons for being here. But I just want all of you to know that I appreciate your help. And he even glances at Greta when he says that. All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Everyone, please be careful.
Try not to die. And that comes with those who have access to the mind. Like with clearly a comics panel of a group of people jumping off of a small rooftop.
I didn't know about the rest of you fuckers, but I've got a date I've got to keep.
Oh, tired.
And I have to talk to you about that.
So do I, but probably very different conversations.
And Tig looks vaguely appalled at the very suggestion.
So
and finishes his beer and walks out.
In various, smallish groups, the lot of you split off and start heading toward your entrances, which are at some distance from the intersection, but he's chosen manholes that are, even less observed at this time of night with all the traffic blocked off than others. And he, and so he's made sure he's got you guys all spread out so that those within an active mind link can all still communicate even though you're separated. So C and Shadow are together. The rest of you are without Pack. And
Thistle is much more nervous now.
yeah. Tim is trying to project reassuring vibes, but he's also got his own stuff going on. So he's
not gonna say this, but the fact you're planning on charging in there and dying makes that unhelpful.
yeah. And when he gets to his manhole cover, he just lifts it off himself. Even in Hamid form, he's strong enough that it's like popping the lid off a Pringles can for him. And I'm assuming that's Shadow's job on the south side.
Yeah.
And Grudek will probably have to do the heavy lifting on the east side.
Grudek has that hook that he's used previously.
Oh, right, okay.
He actually has a manhole opener.
Excellent. And
he calls it the key to the city.
He probably does.
And Silver Glare opens up the west exit for Tig and Bridge Runner. And you all have to go down in Hamid form, except, well, I mean, you're probably in Hamid form on the street anyway. But if Grudek wanted to shift, he could still fit down, but the rest of you have to go.
On our walk from the bar to the manhole cover, I have a flat stone in one hand, and my Predator's arsenal is out on my fingers in the other, and I'm just sharpening my claws.
I think actually, as we leave the bar after Greta, still looking just like Haley Atwell, stands up and sort of stomps out of the bar, not at all with Ms. Atwell's traditional grace. It leaves. Grudek will turn to Shadow and say, I want to thank you. I know sitting next to a leech is perhaps not something you were tremendously comfortable with, so thank you for showing your discretion.
I do not run from an enemy. I will sit right next to them until they show their face.
I was not expecting you to run from her. I'm glad you didn't try to bite her, is my point.
Not an enemy yet.
Salient point.
Well,
so
I just want to let you know it's appreciated.
So each of you,
You're
one at a time, squeezes your way down these little ladders. It's tight enough that the sides of the tunnel brush your shoulders in Hamid form as you're wriggling your way down. But then once you reach the end of the ladder and drop down into the actual tunnel, it opens up a little bit. You still have to crouch, even in Hamid form, to get through the tunnels. And there is a little bit of very, very fragrant water and other liquids flowing along the bottom of the tunnel. And that's going to take a moment to adjust to, as well as your eyes water. And you are really glad you didn't eat a whole lot at the bar.
Yeah. Tig's gonna try and shapeshift into at least Hispo, if not Lupus.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
Hispo.
Because I don't know what gifts Rips has. After I get done sharpening my claws, I'm going to pass the stone off to him, just in case he needs it, and then I'm just going to shift into Lupus and stealth ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grudek has changed into Hispo as well as soon as they get down there.
Okay.
Can someone remind me what the roll for changing forms
Nope.
is?
Stamina and Primal Urge. If you're in Hamid form, difficulty 6.
And you can spend a rage to
Depending on what you're shifting to. If you're trying to shift directly to Hispo, it's difficulty 7. If you're trying to shift to Krynos or
the difficulty is actually based on what you're shifting from, not what you're shifting to.
I'm
I
not
thought it
going
was
to
the other
argue
way
about
around.
Okay,
it.
sorry.
Yeah,
I was at the
think you're
section here in the
incorrect,
book.
but I'm not
Oh, okay.
married to it enough to argue about it. So whichever, 6 or 7, I don't care.
Okay.
I'll try again after a minute or two.
1 success, so I don't
Get to
really change
Glabro.
that much.
You get to Glabro. So do I.
Well, luckily you're moving very slowly down this cramped little tunnel,
Yeah.
and so you can take a little breather and then try again in a minute.
I
But you,
totally wasted 5 successes.
1 more success. So I'm pointedly moving towards the forms that are least helpful for this cramped space where we need to move silently.
After a couple tries, C is just getting a little bit frustrated and is going to just spend one of his rage to get directly to his foe.
that makes sense. That's the damn it approach.
Yeah. Thistle is very aware that rage is a resource that Z does not have very much of.
Yeah.
So, gonna try one more time.
Okay.
Nope. Okay. I'll just put a rage into it.
What happens if you botch a shifting roll?
I'm looking.
I don't even know.
Oh, that would have been a botch. Good to know. Great.
I don't.
So I'm stuck in Krynos, I assume.
Ooh, C had a double botch earlier, so this is relevant.
There's not a specific designation, so I assume it's more or less just you don't make any progress.
You don't shift.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
But
You
it,
turn
Yeah, I
into
thought
a
I would remember.
horrible amalgam of both forms.
It's just
You
like-
turn into
you-
a lizard somehow.
If it wasn't for the fact that there's a gift that specifically lets you do that, it would be like, oh, only your arm changes.
No, but I mean, in a terrible way. You have,
Okay.
Not
you
the
have
useful
horrible
parts of the arm.
little human arms and a wolf torso, and your lower jaw is sticking out, but your top jaw is still Hamid. You're like, yeah.
So I'm gonna, if it's not a penalty. Oh,
I'm gonna need all of you to roll dexterity and stealth difficulty 7.
I would also like to point out my wife just walked into the room just in time to see me doing my horrible half malformed werewolf impression. So
Awesome.
now that's in her head forever. So thanks.
Dexterity stealth difficulty what?
7.
Hey, 2 successes with only my dex to go on.
I don't know if my lightning reflexes specialty applies to this, so that's probably just 2 successes.
okay. Sorry, dexterity stealth.
Well done, Grudek. How did Tig manage to fail this roll?
Because he got 110 and everything else was 6 or below, so it was the difficulty that killed him. But that's okay because he has the gift Blur of the Milky Eye, which he's about ready to jump into at this point as well.
That would be great if there weren't a giant Arun right in front of him.
Oh yeah, no, he's not trying to. He's trying to cloak himself particularly. He's not doing anything for anybody else.
Yeah,
This is just for him.
okay. Yeah. All right. You'll see what I mean in a minute.
Okay.
Everybody else doing your rolls?
1 success.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Tig, as you're making your way down the west tunnel right behind Silver Glare, somehow or other, possibly the smell has got you a little off your game or whatever, but as you're trying to move soundlessly through the water, you stumble a bit, and there's just a tiny bit of a splash sound as you catch yourself in the water, and it carries down the tunnel, echoing.
Well, fuck.
And you actually hear a voice. It sounds like someone in a Krynos form because of the way it's distorted by the fangs and the length of the snout. But you hear someone say, "Did you hear something?" A male voice, and then a female voice, similarly distorted, says, "Yeah, it sounded like it was coming from that way." And you
Right across the mine link, he's letting everybody know. Cover's blown.
I have 2 questions.
Mhm.
1, did I also hear that?
Yep, you can all hear it. The sound carries very well in the tunnels,
Okay.
which is
2,
why Tig has
can
problems.
I tell how far away they are?
You're very close.
All right.
Yeah, it's if you sprint, you can probably
So
get there in one.
I want to just full on rush down my tunnel, activating the Visage of Fenris as I go, so that the thing that they see, so that the next thing that they turn their heads towards is my tunnel, and the first thing they see is Fenris coming out of the sewer.
And like hearing people going about it, I am assuming Shadow may vaguely mention something up with mine. Like, Shadow, I'll very quietly to Tim, Shadow's going.
Okay, and then
roll my thing real
Tim
quick.
does a very panicked sort of come on gesture, and he starts moving still quietly but faster.
And over the mind link as I go, I will basically say, keep moving quietly. Let me know when you're close. And then to see, let me know if they get past me.
Okay, so everybody roll initiative.
I got 3 successes on my Visage roll.
Okay.
Which means
Which
that,
does what?
So Garu who are one rank above me or my rank, are lose 1 from their initiative ratings. And basically, I am a very intimidating and massive figure coming at them. Narratively, I get even larger and more fearsome. So as I break through, it's just this massive wolf coming out of the sewers.
So I assume just your adversaries, not like every guru in the area.
Allies just get a -1 difficulty to their social rolls, which isn't relevant right now.
Okay.
Or I have a -1 difficulty bonus to all my social rolls with them. Enemies, specifically adversaries, lose 1 from their initiative ratings.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
because the idea is it's sort of making them second guess engaging you in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's, shit, big wolf.
Okay.
Now I need to find my initiative roll.
It's at the top of the combat page.
And I should have said earlier, but Greta in lieu of a stealth roll is using obfuscate, and she literally fades into the shadows.
Okay.
It's a good thing. I hope knocking them down by 1 meant anything, because I got a 9.
Ow.
Do I get any bonus for surprising them?
You didn't really surprise them that much because they were already on alert thanks to Tig.
I fail.
You fail.
Hard fail.
Okay, so let's look at everybody's initiative numbers and get everybody in order quickly. Who's got the highest initiative of your group?
I do with an 18.
Yeah.
Okay, so... All right. So C is 18. Who's next?
Thistle and Grudek are tied.
Craig and I
17.
both have.
But,
Okay, I'm gonna
but
put-
Craig has the higher attribute.
Okay,
wait,
so
doesn't-
Grudek.
Wait, nope,
and
no,
then
Thistle.
Thistle.
Thistle, wait. No, Greg. Yeah, Grudek.
Thistle
sorry.
has a 5 wits.
Okay,
Yeah,
who's
it's
after?
not just wits, it's the dexterity
Oh.
wits combo. all
Okay,
added
so who's after Thistle then? We've got
Yeah.
Grudek and Thistle.
And then Tig.
They both have the same.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, Grudek has 9.
Grudek
Thistle has 8.
has 1 higher. Okay, yeah. I was looking at yours and Thistle's.
Who's
Yeah.
after Tig?
Me. With a 9. There's
Oh,
probably
actually-
a lot of people between me and them.
Greta is at 15.
Okay. And then Shadow is last.
That's all right. If you're last, it's kind of like being first of the next round.
I got it close, right? On the.
No, that's accurate, Aaron. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So, first person who gets to go is Tim and his people. I've got the initiative in groups just to save my sanity.
Yep.
So Tim is just using the turn to get as close as he can to the tunnel opening without drawing attention to himself yet. And the rest of his crew is basically doing the same. They're advancing to whatever extent they can, except for Rips, who is going in right behind Shadow. And then next up is C.
C is going to continue moving forward just to the tunnel entrance where he's supposed to be holding, and he's going to attempt to shift into Krynos and draw his sword and just plant it in the ground in front of him, waiting for an enemy.
Okay.
Okay, so he's going to roll shifting. Coming from Hispo, it's going to be difficulty 7. Okay, with the extra stamina from being in Hispo, I make it to Krynos.
Okay. Grudek, what are you up to?
Grudek is, I think at this point, just going to hang back in the entrance to the tunnel and prepare to hamstring anyone who tries to run past him.
Okay. Thistle?
Thistle can move up to be behind Tim's group, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm already in Krynos, so I'm just going to stick with that.
Okay.
Because I felt
Ready
like
for
the
battle.
botch was a reasonable place to stop.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like,
So, yeah.
yeah, he's just tired of shifting now. And Tig, what are you up to?
Tig, having apparently royally fucked the plan, probably because his great idea to give himself a date to look forward to now just gave him something else to worry about besides the combat.
Yeah.
Is just pushing as fast and quiet down the tunnel as he can, and getting ready to just flying leap bite the first black spiral he can find.
Okay, what's Greta up to?
She is. Can she get into range of any of the black spirals?
Well, she hasn't been given a signal to move out yet, because remember.
Yeah, but I mean, she's moving. She's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Basically the people on either side, east and west, are waiting for both the north and south people to enter before they enter, in theory.
Yeah, but I mean, she's using Cloak of Shadows and Unseen Presence.
Okay.
And so is moving out from the opening slowly into the room to try to get herself into position.
Okay. That is absolutely against orders, but also like she probably doesn't care. So, all right. So she's actually moving into the space unseen at the moment. Okay. And then I guess her little cronies, the 3 of them, are going to kind of just hang sort of. They're not out there yet, but they're sort of waiting uncertainly.
They're probably
during this
hanging
turn.
out with Grudek, in front of Grudek in the tunnels.
Yeah. Meanwhile, 6 black spirals, 5 in Krynos form, and 1, bless his heart, still in Hamid form, and recognizable to any of you who can see him in the very, very dim light as Ethan. Just a 13-year-old kid, flanked by 2 enormous Krynos. Obviously Metis, one of them is really got this amazing hunchback, just like practically bent in half, and one of them is very visible in the dark because he has fiendishly glowing red eyes. All of their eyes are actually glowing except for Ethan's, but they're like this balefire sickly green. But this one dude who's on Ethan's left side has these hellishly red eyes that just glow in the dark, and then the guy on Ethan's other side is this enormous hunchback. And then there's 3 other black spirals right behind them, and they were actually in the process of sort of meandering toward the west tunnel where Ty was coming in. But then when I'm assuming that Shadow is last turn, Shadow started barreling down the tunnel, so now they've all swiveled around toward the south, and they're waiting to see what's coming out that way. And yeah, so there's 3 other hideously deformed, but not quite as huge Black Spiral Krynos lurking behind Ethan and his two bodyguards is what they look like.
And Tim had told us there were 5 of them or 6 total.
6. Told us
Not
there were
including
6.
Morning Cloud Sun.
Right. And on that note, you can also dimly see in the very center of this circular chamber, there is a motionless, completely hairless Krynos that has been just bound head and foot, gagged, and is just lying in a pile of filth, like a discarded toy in the middle of the room, with visible wounds and everything, just lying there in the center. And they basically spend this turn just swiveling about and trying to figure out what the hell is happening now in the south tunnel. And Shadow, that is your cue to go.
All right, I'm about to get into something to look at. So as I hit the edge of the tunnel, I'm going to push off to leap out, and in mid-air spend a rage point to automatically go to Krynos. So this massive Krynos that looks twice as big as he normally does, who should not have been able to fit into that sewer pipe, just basically materializes in mid-leap, claws extended. And I see Ethan, right?
Yeah.
He's getting a massive Krynos claw all over his very not prepared body. As I basically just leap out into the middle of the room.
Okay.
There's your deed name, Teen Puncher.
Yeah. I think that given you had to sprint a ways down the tunnel first, I think that we'll have to do the attack roll next.
Well, I can spend a rage to get an extra action, so if I need to, I can spend 2 rage around. So
yeah, if you wanna attack this round, then
that's fine by me.
That's an extra, yeah.
I am giving them something to look at.
Can Grudek begin to howl the anthem of war when Shadow bursts out into the chamber?
That would be against what Tim ordered, but I mean, he can do whatever he wants. Tim made it very clear.
I also specifically said to approach quietly when I started my charge.
I just wanted to ask if I could.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's Grudek's decision, but the orders were south tunnel first, then north tunnel, before they even know there's an east and west.
No, I remember. I was just asking.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I am going to be attacking now.
All right.
And I have a specialization attacking with my claws, so that's 5 successes, which means that I'm gonna need this punk to absorb a lot of damage in a minute. I need Ethan to absorb 9 aggravated damage in his Hamid form.
And this is actually a thing that I was not prepared for because I thought everyone was going to be in Krynos. Can you soak aggravated damage in Hamid form?
Looking that up for you.
His breed damage. As long as it's not his breed form, I believe.
It is his breed form.
If he's a Hamid,
yeah.
Yeah, he can't soak that, I don't think.
So that's just basically instant death, right? I mean, there's no way that's not instant death, right?
Okay. So if that puts him at incapacitated and takes 1 more damage than that, it would be instant death. However, he can roll his rage pool at difficulty 8, and each success there, he instantly heals a health level of damage.
He needs to heal 2 health levels of damage to not be incapacitated.
Okay, let's see. So it's rage difficulty what?
8.
Okay.
If he only heals 1, he dies.
Not to play Worm's advocate here, but couldn't he also spend a rage point to become Krynos?
He didn't even know what the hell was going on.
Okay.
Like, you guys, this is where the advantage of surprise comes in. So this was a sound plan, and he botched his silk roll, which is not really a thing, but
Oh.
Was that your wince, Michelle? I saw
yeah,
you
that
wince.
was why I
Okay.
winced, because
Okay.
that was a double botch on the damn soak roll. So fate wants this kid dead. Okay, yeah. So basically, what happens is they're like, "Did you hear something coming from that direction?" And then they definitely hear something coming from the south. And just as they turn around to see what the hell is coming down the south tunnel, this gigantic black Krynos just comes leaping out of nowhere, launches himself onto their pack leader. And was this a bite or a claw attack?
This was a claw. This was just overhead, almost like you're almost like I was dunking a basketball, except the basketball and the goal was Ethan's head.
Okay. So yeah, and basically this huge black Krynos just comes leaping out of the tunnel and rakes claws and just makes absolute shredded beef out of Ethan in one swipe. He has no face, no recognizable anything anymore. They would have to get his dental records to identify him in one swipe. They watch their pack leader just get cut to damn ribbons.
And then I will start the Anthem of War, and mentally, who's with Tim? Is Thistle?
I am.
Mentally to Thistle, I'll say, go now.
Okay, it's us.
And as soon as Thistle gives the signal, Tim comes charging out because he happens to be next in initiative order as well.
He's at the top.
Yep. So he comes running out and just makes a beeline for one of the guys in the back who literally have their back to him right now. And
So he gets -2 to his difficulty to hit because he's attacking from the rear.
excellent.
Which is awesome.
Okay. And
What is kind of amusing is we put so much effort into keeping you alive, but then you fucked it up. Your pace.
The last thing he saw of this group was Shadow, and the last thing he saw ever was Shadow. So it's it works.
Indeed.
Quite a nice narrative symmetry there. It's true.
Indeed. Okay, so oh boy, this is not looking good for. Okay. So, and this is what I forgot to put on the sheet is health levels. Fantastic. So, I'm going to put that right here. Yeah, so let me check something very quickly here. I knew I'd forget something crucial. Just looking at combat. Okay. Okay, so Tim comes galloping on all fours in Krynos form out of the north tunnel and leaps on one of the guys in the back who disturbingly has a third arm coming out of his chest. This dude or lady, it's hard to tell, which Tim doesn't see because he's coming from the back. He launches himself onto this guy and rips into him with his teeth, and the three-armed guy lets out this cry of absolute agony, which any of you who've been around long enough to hear a few cries of agony, the last time you heard a Garou cry out like that, they were being hit with silver. So Tim sinks apparently silver fangs into the back of this kid's shoulder and just like rips his shoulder and half his neck with his teeth.
Can't soak that shit.
Yeah, the kid is gushing blood now. And up next is C.
So C just has his blade kind of held in front of him, to both hands on the grip, and is just waiting for something to come down his tunnel and is preparing to run them through if they decide to come his way.
Okay. This is just a regular blade, right? Like just regular.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am better at hitting with and dealing damage with it than my claws. My claws are for extra attacks.
Okay. All right. And
for grabbing things and pulling when somebody else has the arms and head.
Yeah.
Okay, Grudek, you're up next.
And to be clear, now that north and south tunnels have both attacked, we are clear to engage.
Well, you haven't gotten an actual official signal yet.
Yeah.
But
The signaling the instructions were that Shadow would signal north and then signal east and west.
Mm-hmm.
And Shadow has not signaled yet because it's not his turn again yet. So,
All right.
yeah, so you have not yet received a signal.
Grudek will stay in place, and again, just we'll prepare to start singing the Anthem of War, and I guess hold my action to try to hamstring anybody who runs past. Still.
Okay. Thistle is up next.
Okay, so I'm moving up behind Tim to stand in the exit. Is there anything within range of me at all?
Nope. You're easily within a turn if you wanted to attack anyone in the room, because it's only like 25 feet diameter. Anybody in that space is reachable and attackable within one turn. You wouldn't have to do 2 actions to move to them and attack. Like, they're all pretty crowded in there.
But then I wouldn't be able to get back to the entrance, huh?
Probably not. No, that would be the next turn.
You said the kid's tied up on the floor?
Yeah, in the very center of the room, and so it would be somewhat past him that you saw your dad rip this 3-armed kid a new one. You can actually see the kid, like, your dad had to pretty much like leap over him to get to the person he's attacking. He did not actually like step on him or anything, but he's between you and because they're all sort of crowded toward the south end of the tunnel.
I'm assuming with my 1 strength, it doesn't look like I could drag him out of the way, given he's also Krynos.
Yeah, no, he's
okay.
Very large. Lord.
I'll just stay where I am.
Okay. Tig?
So, Tig is going to activate his fairy eyes so that his glow green as well. Probably not the same exact.
Yeah, it's like a pretty leafy green and not a thick.
But maybe enough that it'll make them kind of. Wait, is that one of my guys or not? He's going for the faint deception maneuver, as he's going to try and incorporate it that way. And then just stay right on Silverglare's heels, so that as soon as she goes, he's ready to jump out and
she's
dig
currently in Krynos form, which means that she's filling the entire tunnel ahead of him with red fur. Like, it's just like this massive red fur.
Oh yeah, no,
and he can't see anything going on.
In a big.
So he completely missed Shadow's heroics of just.
Oh yeah, no, he can't see shit. He's staying in his boat. He's not gonna shift to Krynos yet.
So Greta is up next, and you're muted. You're muted.
She's
again.
gonna circle around. I'm trying not to add to the froggy ambiance of the sewers. She's gonna try to. Get out in circles. She's still waiting for a signal to actually attack, but is going to try to get into position behind that really big one of the 2 that were previously guarding the now dead Ethan.
So the big hunchback one?
Yeah, the big.
They're both pretty big, but the hunchback one is like
Yeah,
massive.
she's just moving around and is in position behind him, and as long as she doesn't trip over anything or make a sound, nobody can see her.
Okay.
And we'll ready an action for.
Do you need to roll for? I don't know how her gift works. Do you need to do any kind of roll to see if she is in fact detected, or is that? Or I mean, not her gift. But
No, as long as she doesn't attack or make a sound or something like that,
okay.
she
is
can
walking
stay
through water. Does that count as making a sound?
I mean, other people automatically avert their gazes as they pass by. People unconsciously avoid contact.
Okay. And also toward the center of this space, it's a little more dry. Around the perimeter of the circle is where most of the water and sludge has built up, and then the center is a little more dry. So she's probably actually at this point walking over just slimy bricks.
I can make a stealth roll for her.
Sure, why not?
Just to make sure she doesn't botch.
Yeah.
Difficulty would be what?
Difficulty 6.
Okay. 4 successes.
Okay, so yeah, she's fine.
All right. And then she's is waiting the signal to attack.
So the next thing that happens is that 5 black spirals jump Shadow at once.
Did Rips come out, by the way?
He's right behind you, but like he might as well not even be there for all they're concerned.
You
just killed their pack leader right in front of
them. Oh,
them.
that's fine. That's the intention. Bring it on.
Yep, you have succeeded in your objective, because 5 black spirals are now about to jump on you.
This is what I was made for.
All right, here we go. Got to get everybody's. So first, Mr. Hunchback jumps on you. Okay, so you're going to want to soak 7.
Okay. What is it? It's probably aggravated.
Yeah,
they're in Krynos.
They're all in Krynos.
I soak all but 1.
Okay. Next up is Red Eyes. Gonna jump on you too.
Mm-hmm.
And also bite you. Soak 6.
I soak all but 2.
Okay. Actually, 3-armed guy is not going to jump on you because he just got savaged from behind. So lucky you, there's only 2 more coming at you. So another one comes lunging at you. And this one, disturbingly, seems to have 4 eyes.
Never knew black spirals wore glasses.
Like literally 4 eyes. Like
yeah.
So he hasn't taken 4 eyes, the guardian from the Sept captive.
It is 4 eyes.
This one actually has 4 literal eyes. So let's see, dexterity and brawl. Okay, only got to soak 2 this time. 4 eyes is a little bit on the spindly side.
Should be able to soak that. I exactly soak it.
And then the 4th one, who has no ears at all, which makes for a very weird head shape. No ears.
Misses.
Jumps on you also. And soak 4. They're all biting you.
I soak all but 1.
Okay, so how many
I'm at injured.
Okay. So basically 4 of these hideously misshapen Krynos leap on Shadow at the same time with their teeth. One of them just sort of grazes him, and the others do varying levels of light damage. So he's now bleeding lightly in a few places from Fang.
I'm gonna spend a willpower to use resist pain so that I don't care that I'm injured.
Okay.
4 eyes, no ears, can't lose.
Yes, we still can, guys.
4 eyes, no waiting.
Okay. And the one that just got savaged is going to use this turn to turn around and try to attack Tim. So he does a quick 180 as he's still howling in pain. Mr. Three Arms. Yeah, good luck. Oh, I forgot. Yeah. So he whirls around and sinks his teeth into Tim's arm, which he's just like sort of put up between him and the guy he just savaged, and clamps his teeth on Tim's arm, but it's like he just bit a lead pipe or something. Just like nothing happens at all. Tim just shrugs, just rips his arm out of the guy's mouth, and there's not even a scratch on there. So next up is Shadow.
Over the mental link. Ty, Grudek, now. I also, to Ty, give Ty an image of where Morning Cloud's child is, and an image of, and sort of in relation to where Thistle is, with an imperative of get one of them to the other. Because I know Ty can move and Thistle has to stay guard. And
does Ty get any inkling of how fucked up Shadow is at the moment?
I was gonna ask
you
that.
Yeah, you get rage just barely bubbling beneath the surface, so no.
Okay.
Yeah, resist pain means you probably wouldn't be feeling any pain from his
I'm
side
feeling.
He feels just
nothing.
fine.
And I am going to. Where's Rips in relation to me?
Right behind you.
Okay, I'm going to basically claw at. I'll send Hunchback over to Rips. I'm going to claw at the Hunchbacked one.
Okay.
I hit. That's 6 successes. Haha. And I'm going to spend a willpower point for Falling Touch. So in addition to doing my full amount of damage to the damage that I do to him, I send him sprawling backwards and onto the ground, using my Falling Touch gift. So he's now prone on the ground in front of Rips. It's my present to him.
Okay.
If he lives through this, I guess. And 5 extra successes. That one needs to soak 7 aggravated damage.
Okay. What do you add for stamina to Krynos form again?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, metas can soak even in breed form. Yeah, they're odd.
Yeah,
because their breed form is Krynos, and it kind of sucks to have your combat form, but you can't soak any damage. What's the point?
Yeah, that'd be really sucky.
Okay.
Flip side is they take extra aggravated damage from silver and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we have to keep Grudek out of the jewelry shop.
I'm sorry, was that a claw or a bite?
That was a claw.
Okay. Okay, so Shadow goes leaping at the hunchback guy, and just rips open one whole side of his torso with his claws. So he's now got, just blood pouring out of him as he goes sprawling onto his hunched back.
And then I'm going
sort of rolling around. Since his back isn't exactly flat, he's very unstable in that position.
Then I'm going to spend a rage point to attack the next one that was on me. Let's go with the 4-eyed one.
I want to remind you that, yes, reducing your current rage helps me heal you. Unfortunately, if you reduce it to 0, it becomes much harder to heal
I
you.
am very much aware of where my rage is at. If it reduces to 0, I can't fight anymore, so I can't spend
So
all of it.
you're attacking Red Eyes now?
The four-eyed one.
Oh, the four-eyed one that has oh yeah, that okay. Yeah, the little sort of spindly one. Okay.
That's 8 successes on the attack, which means I have 7 extra successes. That one needs to soak 9 damage as well, or 9 damage.
Okay.
I'm hopefully weakening them enough that the people coming in from the sides can just 1, 2.
Okay, so this guy only soaks 3, so that's 6 levels, right?
Yep.
Which puts him at what?
That would put him at crippled,
Ooh.
which is a -5 to all rolls. A -5 dice penalty to all rolls.
Yep. So and that was another claw attack?
Yep, that was another claw attack, and I've got 1 more rage I can spend, and I'm going to spend it for another attack.
Yeah, so basically Shadow claws the four-eyed Krynos and almost completely takes off the kid's right arm, like just claws straight through the joint, and his one arm is just like hanging by scraps of flesh and just pouring blood everywhere. And go again, Shadow.
My last attack is going at the 3-armed one that's attacking Tim.
Okay.
Does that one have his back to Shadow since he turned to face Tim?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So your difficulty's at a -2.
Ooh, so that's my difficulty 3.
Oh god, this is gonna be nasty.
Only 4 successes, though.
Oh, well.
There were a couple of ones in there.
Yeah, there are a couple of ones in there.
Ah,
And none of
gotcha.
them were 10s. So that's 3 extra. Does it 8? It needs to soak 8 aggravated damage.
Okay.
How much damage was it already at?
Wounded.
It was wounded, so it needs to be able to soak at least 4 of them. Sorry, no. It needs to soak 5 of them to not die.
Well, it needs to soak 5 to not be incapacitated. It needs to soak
not be
4 to not
incapacitated.
die.
Soaked 6. So where's he now?
He takes 2.
Soak 6, so then
Put him in
So he's
crippled
crippled
again.
as well.
puts him at
Yep.
crippled, yeah.
So Shadow, either cleverly or by happenstance, hit the same shoulder that Tim did, and now Four Eyes is in basically, Three Arms is in basically the same situation as Four Eyes, where he's got one arm just dangling, pouring blood, and unusable.
So
Now he's got 2 arms. Okay, cool.
I have given both.
The third arm doesn't seem to do much, but just dangle there, so it's not much of an advantage.
I have given
On
both
the gripping hand.
I have given both the side tunnels the cue to go. I have severely injured 3 of the 4 that were left. 3 of the 5 that were left. All right, I'm good. That's my turn.
Can Greta and Grudek use their held actions? Or should they just wait till their next turn?
I
Really
held actions.
Held actions are basically on your turn, instead of going right away, you voluntarily sort of bump yourself lower in the initiative ranking so that when the trigger goes off, you can do something so that it happens in the right order.
Okay, sure.
Grudek is going to start singing the Anthem of War. I assume Shadow has stopped.
No, I'm still singing. I've been singing while hitting. It's been nonstop.
All right, Grudek is going to join in. Michelle, can I make a performance roll to see if I can give a morale boost or anything?
Yeah. Go for it.
6 successes.
I would say we're feeling morale boost.
You know how dwarves and orcs sing while beating on their opponents? That's exactly what Shadow is doing right now.
So what's the mechanics of that?
I don't know.
I'll see what I can find.
It just in the book it just says Galliards sing the Anthem of War to boost the morale of their companions. There's no rules based.
but I know morale must do something. So I want to give that like a mechanical little boost to something, a +1 to something or a -1 to something. Or...
Maybe it lowers difficulty.
You may want to just use what supporter allows for. So I'll put that in chat because that's an easy shorthand.
Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, that's not mechanically whatever specific ability a Galliard might get access to at some point, but it's a bonus for supporting people.
Yeah, Michelle, if you want to do it just now, I'd say either a single die bonus or a single die or a single difficulty decrease.
I'm
Probably
give
to attack.
I'm gonna give everybody gets while Grudek is singing with Shadow, you get +1 to all of your dice pools.
Oh,
that works for me.
That works too.
Because 6 successes. Come on, you got to get.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm gonna assume that does not apply to the Nosferatu.
No, they're like, what is this racket?
Why the hell is this guy howling? But Greta does sort of suddenly appear out of the shadows, no longer looking like Haley Atwell, but now looking like herself, which is a corpse-faced, bat-eared, hunched figure in a dirty old trench coat. And she is carrying an M1 Garand, which is a World War II rifle, with a oddly gleaming bayonet affixed to it. And she appears out of the shadows over the downed hunchback and attempts to stab him on the ground.
A fixed silver bayonet.
She's gonna steal Rips's kill. That might not end well.
And I'm splitting her dice pool because if regardless of what happens with the attack, she's going to attempt to fade back into the shadows afterwards. So is this -2 to the difficulty because he's prone?
Back. Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
So that would be
diff 6.
Yeah, 4, which is good. Okay. 4 successes.
And that's damage plus 3 successes.
Okay. That's +1. Strength +1, and it's aggravated because it's.
So it'd be strength +4. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not soakable because silver.
Yep.
Right.
I like the idea that the Garon might not even be loaded. It just has a silver bayonet.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is not loaded. She's just using it as a melee weapon.
Yeah, Tim specifically forbade her to discharge firearms in a methane-filled tunnel.
Oh, good for Tim. Good for Tim having some science background. Way to go, buddy.
He knows
I
science.
really hope the Nosferatu's aware of that.
I'm sure they are as well.
Fire really sucks for them.
I'm sure they are as well.
Yeah.
So, and I apologize. Remind me of damage because when I'm rolling for Greta, I'm using actual
difficulty
dice.
6. Difficulty 6 on damage.
Oh Jesus. And if I get some 10s, does that help?
Those are just single successes unless she has a silver bayonet weapon specialty.
But she did get 5 successes.
Hot damn, girl.
Do successes count as 2 on damage as well if you have a specialty?
I don't know. I'd have to check.
I didn't think
And
they
then do you
did.
have to roll
Otherwise,
to see if she
I'd be doing
disappears
more
again
damage.
afterward.
Yes, I do.
roll
And that
that.
is. But so does she kill? What happens to the?
Let me
To
know
the
if she
hunchback.
disappears first, and then I'll tell you the whole thing.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so she stabs and basically will then immediately try to use Vanish from the Mind's Eye, which is Charisma plus Stealth versus target's Wits plus Alertness. That's the difficulty is Wits plus Alertness of the target.
So
Okay.
who in the
So-
Black Spirals has the highest wits and alertness?
That's going to be difficulty 5.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, who in the Black Spirals has the highest? I was going off of this dude's that she's stabbing.
It's basically if she's trying to disappear from the entire crowd,
Oh,
it's
right.
the highest
Gotcha.
in the group.
Okay, in that case, difficulty 7.
Okay. All right. We'll still be okay. Three successes.
So does that mean that she
So-
vanishes?
She is the knight.
Let's see. With 3 or fewer successes, the character fades but does not vanish, becoming an indistinct ghost-like figure.
Oh,
Okay. So basically what happens is Hunch Guy is lying on the floor, bleeding pretty heavily. Out of nowhere, this corpse-faced, bat-eared woman appears with a silver bayonet, stabs him right through the eye into his brain.
I was hoping for the eye shot.
Yanks the thing out, and then just like melts into the shadows. You can still see her, but she just like seems to just.
Well, and not to add more bookkeeping for you, Michelle, so if you want to ignore this part, that's fine. But it does say that if the player scores more successes than any observer's willpower rating, that observer forgets that the vampire was even there in the first place.
So if any of them have 3 or less willpower.
Yeah,
willpower.
so if anybody has had...
What were the successes?
3.
3. So if anybody has 3 or less, they forget what just happened.
Nope, they all have higher than that. So.
Okay.
That would be funny,
Worth
though.
pointing out, at least.
Yeah, Hunchback is now dead.
2.
With
2 down.
Yeah, he just got stabbed
2
in the
down,
brain.
2
bayonet.
severely injured, 2 still
Okay.
fresh.
So
Thumbs up for
now,
bringing the vampire.
so now for going forward, Grudek and Greta are both after Shadow in the initiative order, not before anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, delayed actions are permanent, thus
So,
going forward for the same.
and Grudek.
That's fine. That means that Greta can clean up anything I don't kill.
That's her intention. She's happy to let you do the clawing and stabbing. She'll do mop up.
I'm here for the cleanup duty.
Okay, so
we
next
told
up,
you to clean up the mess.
Next up is Tim and company. So, all right. So 3-arm guy is lying on the floor. Easy pickings. Wasn't Four Eyes injured? Did I?
Yeah, Four Eyes is crippled
No,
currently.
He lost an arm, almost.
Okay.
Both Four Eyes and 3 Arms are both crippled.
And don't forget the Nosferatu crew.
Earless and Red Eyes are the only ones that aren't injured yet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3-arm is lying there with his half of one of his 3 arms, dangling, and is easy pickings for Tim. But Tim instead elects to launch himself directly at Red Eye, who is still closer to Shadow. And
Michelle, not to derail things suddenly, but since speaking quickly is usually a reflexive action, as soon as Ty got the information that it was go time, he would have passed that along to Silverglare right away.
okay. My soak rolls have just been awful. Like,
That's good.
this fight was supposed to be harder, guys. This is supposed to be a much harder fight than this. Yeah, so
Shadow is very good at what he does.
So Tim leaps forward and oh, you know what? It doesn't matter. He can't soak that anyway. Damn.
Oh yeah, because Tim's claws are silver right now.
So
So level after wounded, it's mauled, right?
how many damage? How much damage?
He does 5 levels of damage with his silver.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is mauled. Yes.
Yep.
And
Still
the
at minus
penalty
2.
on that?
Minus
Still
2.
at minus
Yep.
2.
Okay, so yeah, Tim leaps forward to Red Eyes with his silver claws, and and yeah, just basically rips open his chest. He's still up on his feet and moving, but pouring lots of blood. Bridge Runner is still holding the fort in his tunnel. Meanwhile, Silverglare
Come and end one of these guys.
Yeah, she is actually closest to, okay, Hunchback's dead. Okay, so she's closest to 3-arm guy. So she's going to try to finish him off by ripping his throat out. Mm, mm, mm. What? My dice are awful. I guess she did well in the dark. She does manage to hit him, but no extra successes. I got 1 success on that roll. What is wrong with my dice tonight?
One is better than none.
Yeah, yep. Okay, so damage for bite is
Bite is strength +1.
Yep.
okay. Where? And strength in Krynos is
+4.
+4, yep.
That's fine. My strength is 9.
Muscle-bound jerk.
Muscle-bound jerk is tossing black spirals around like toys. So.
Yeah, okay. So Silver Glare comes from the west tunnel, leaps on the poor crippled 3-arm, and doesn't even bother with his mangled arm and just finishes him by ripping his throat clean out. Yeah.
Wormfowl.
Muzzle just dripping with black spiral blood. And who else we got? Oh yeah, Rips.
Tags on the side with a big foam finger going, "She's on my clan tribe."
Rips was actually planning to finish that guy off himself, and actually, because I can afford to, he wastes a turn just slapping Silver Glare upside the back of her head. They're pack mates, and she just stole his kill, so he's pissed off enough to take a moment to slap her upside the head, because he can tell they're totally winning the fight, and he's not concerned in the least about anything. And meanwhile, little Cher pops over to Earless, who's over on the ground crippled as well. What do you add to Dex for Krynos form?
+1, I think.
Yes, +1.
Okay, I've been doing it right. Okay.
Krynos aren't that dexterous. They get the +1 mostly because of their reach.
Hello, my arms are 8 feet long each.
Extra.
Although,
okay.
with a +1 to the die pool, because Grudak and I are battle songing.
Wait, what happened there? Did I just roll another? Okay. Okay, so 2 levels after crippled is what?
Incapacitated. Oh, sorry. Oh, 2 levels after crippled is dead.
Dead.
Okay, so she rips out Earless's throat. Or 4-Eye, right? That was down. Earless is the one that's not hurt yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, Red Eyes is the one that's not hurt. No. Red Eyes was the one that Tim jumped on.
4-Eyes, Earless and Red Eyes are not hurt yet, but 4-Eye is now dead.
Until Tim threw himself at Red Eyes.
Tim threw himself at one of them.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, Red Eyes is now mauled.
But 4-Eyes.
So the only one that's not hurt is the little spindly. No, he just died. Okay, Earless. Yeah, Earless is the only one who's not hurt.
Next target then.
I was gonna say, good to know. Good to know.
Yep. So that's our That's Tim's contingent. Now it's C's turn.
C's waiting. If anyone comes his way, he's going to attack them. Probably stab first and then claw.
Okay. Next after C is now Thistle.
Okay. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff going on. Who is hurt? Raise your hands on the camera. Okay. Michelle, what NPCs are hurt, if any?
I think I'm the only one that's been hit.
Yeah.
I just wanted to check, because if it's like a Silver Glare's 1 health level away from dead, I might prioritize that.
Yeah, I was just looking over here, and element of
So
surprise.
you said this space is pretty small. Do I have enough time to get over there and do the action for Mother's Touch, or no?
You'd have enough. You'd be able in one turn to get over there and do the heal, but not to also get back. You'd have to move back next turn.
Yeah, John, is the spending a rage to do another action like a you thing?
No, it's anybody.
No, that's anybody. So yeah, you could spend a rage and get another action and then move back probably.
Okay.
In the initiative, Tig's right behind me, right? Or no?
Yep.
Okay. So, trusting that Tig's likely gonna move next, Thistle will Tig cover the exit and run over to C.
You mean the shadow?
Fuck. Yes, Shadow.
Because C's on the other end of the tunnel, completely uninjured, waiting.
C's fine. C's not the concern. Spending a Gnosis for Mother's Touch, which... What is your current rage?
My current rage is 1.
Great. That's fantastic. My difficulty is 1 on this.
I intentionally spent all but 1 of my rage in the first couple of rounds, so that it would be easier to heal me.
Yep. Okay. So intelligence and medicine, or no, intelligence and empathy. Sorry. Difficulty 1. I think I misrolled it. So... Did it show up for you guys that time?
8 successes.
8 successes. So, just so I'm absolutely sure I'm not messing this up. Each success heals 1 level of lethal, bashing, or aggravated.
Ooh.
I don't think you have any battle scars that I need to heal, but that would cost me another Gnosis.
If 8 successes heals aggravated, then I am fully healed.
Yep, Mother's Touch is awesome. And I know I can't get there, but I'm moving back towards that exit and asking Tig to also move in that direction.
So you're not spending the rage to get back there?
I have 2 rage,
That's
so
fine.
I'm going to not waste it.
I just want to make sure I know what Tig's looking at when he goes.
Yeah, I'm running as fast as I can, but I'm not burning.
Legit.
Okay, so Tig is up next.
Okay. Michelle, which of the ones that are still standing are closest to Tig?
Let's see, Tig's coming from the west.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got Red Eye and Earless left. I think Earless is closer because he was behind the 2 big bodyguards, so he's closer to the center. So he could, yeah.
And from the angle that Tig's approaching, is he coming in from the side or from the back of Earless?
Earless is actually now facing Tig because he just turned around.
All right, no worries.
Friend get his throat ripped out.
Tig is going to spend 2 rage, so he's going to get 2 attacks and then dash to block Thistle's entrance.
Okay.
Because he has 4, so he can spend up to 2 in a turn. So 3 successes on the first attack. which deals...
Strength +2. Although you got an extra +1 from the...
I've added in the extra +1. So Earless has to soak 7 aggravated on the first attack, as Tig just leaps out Hispo form and he's biting for the throat.
Okay.
Did you get the extra 1 for Hispo?
Yeah, I added those in on everything. Yeah, there's a special Hispo bite.
Remind me again what's added to stamina for Krynos.
3.
3. Yep.
Yes. That's why my stamina is at 8.
Okay, so he's 2 down.
Okay. And second bite is coming in down low, going for a leg artery.
Okay.
Makes contact, but only with a single. Whoops, wrong one. Wish I'd done that last time. So 1 extra success. He has to soak another 4 aggravated. He, she, they. I don't know.
Okay, so that's 2 more. And that's mauled, right? 4 levels is... Wait, no, that's wounded? Wait, what is 4 levels down wounded?
4 is wounded.
4 levels of wounded. Yep. Mm-hmm.
2. Okay.
And then Tig is just doing a runner straight back and planting his feet in front of Thistle's tunnel, and those eyes are just flaring as much as he can make them at this point.
Okay, yeah. So Earless still on his feet, but basically this streak of orange fire came out of the west tunnel, took a chunk out of the side of his neck and then a chunk out of his thigh and left him bleeding and darted to the north tunnel, all in just like a blur. And then something very strange happens.
Oh.
Earless was a theurge.
Suddenly none of you can see anything at all. It's just pitch black.
I don't need to see.
I need a C. He's my alpha.
And let's see what else.
Fucking tunnel.
So let's see. Yep. Okay. Okay, yeah. So it goes pitch black, and then Red Eyes. Well, you don't know what Red Eyes does, but I do.
Who feels him bump into them out of tunnels?
Yeah, let's see.
I'm hoping if it's an NPC, they'll have the sense to shout.
All of your rolls now have +2 difficulty.
Okay.
What are the other 3 Nosferatu doing?
Not a whole lot.
Okay. Fair enough.
If they were needed, they'd be doing stuff, but they're like, you know what? I'm staying out of this.
But they're still hanging out in the tunnel with Grudek, right? In front of Grudek. Okay.
They're
like,
guarding with you.
Yeah, they appear to be like sort of watching the situation, and then when everything goes dark, one of them goes, "Oh fuck."
I can't
and
wait.
then that's basically what
I can't wait to hear how Grudek tells the story of the whirling dervish that was in the middle of this fight.
Okay.
Should have killed the theurge first. Damn it.
I have no way of knowing who's who.
Yeah, no, I didn't have no way of knowing one of them was a theurge.
Also, any black spiral can do that.
Oh well, damn.
Huh?
Oh, well.
And they would have done it earlier if they had not been taken completely by surprise and like, what the hell is going on?
If they hadn't been exploded in the middle of.
Yeah, that was awkward. Let's see. Okay, so that's 3, and then that's
Yeah, one of them bumps into C while he's filling this tunnel. He's taking a stab at them.
The one risk though is that Thistle did just out themselves as the group healer.
Yep.
And is sort of in the middle of things.
Yep. Let's see.
Just have to hope they're more concerned with trying to stay alive than trying to kill the Theurge.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's what, 1 uninjured left and
No,
2
they're
injured
both
left?
injured. There's only 2 left, and they're both injured.
Okay, so in the darkness, you hear Tim let out a sound of not exactly even pain, but more annoyance in the darkness, and that is all you're aware of happening at the moment. Next up is Shadow.
I would like to try to see if I can get a sense for where any of them are.
You can only assume that they're approximately where you left them. You can see nothing and you can smell nothing except for...
Can I hear them moving or breathing? I
You
imagine
don't
if they're
hear-
as heavily injured as they are, they'd be panting.
Everybody appears to be in about the same place you left them
Okay.
from what you can hear.
All right.
So you hear actually no breathing at all from the one that from Earless, but you still hear Red Eyes, who, from what you can hear of his position, he must have been the one that just attacked him.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to kill Red Eyes then.
Okay.
Red Eyes, Black Spiral. Go away. +2 to my difficulty. Am I behind him? I would assume, because he's facing Tim.
Yes, but you're also -2 difficulty.
Yeah, so it's -2 difficulty, then +2 difficulty, so it sort of stays where it's at, which is
Yeah.
what I was going for.
Yeah.
Well, blam. All right. Well, that's 7 successes. Oh, wow. That many dice and only 5 successes.
Okay. Red Eyes.
Soak 5.
Oh.
Unfortunately, werewolves can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for once, my dice got lucky, and probably because of the pitch darkness and you're not being able to perfectly aim your trajectory of attack, you just don't manage to get anything but fur.
I do, however, hit, so I'm going to spend a willpower to knock him on the ground prone.
Okay.
Sweep him up.
Just sort of like grab and he slam down.
Okay.
It's only a flesh wound.
All right. That's my turn.
Now it's Greta.
All right.
Also
She is.
and has -2 difficulty on everything.
-2 or +2?
-2. Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
+2.
You know what I mean. It's 2 harder.
Yeah.
It's too
absolutely.
harder.
Okay. On the plus side, she's pretty much in her element.
Also, I just knocked the guy on the ground. I'm pretty certain she could hear that.
Yeah. She is. I'm not going to split my action. But does that?
Luckily, no one can see her at all anyway, so
Yeah.
nobody can see anything except for one dude right now.
And does that? Does the bonus of attacking the prone enemy counteract the difficulty of attacking in the dark? Because she got
does.
a +2 to attack a prone.
Yeah, and it's 2.
Yeah, they cancel.
Okay.
So it's a regular difficulty.
Just wanted to make sure she was still getting the bonus.
That's why I
Okay.
knocked him prone.
So that's 6, right?
Difficulty 6 to hit. Yep.
Yeah. Four successes.
So that's, I believe, the weapon is strength +1, so that's strength +4 damage.
Difficulty 6 again.
And it's silver.
Stabbity.
That would be 5 successes.
Damn!
So
I have
again,
silver damage.
again, she does her trick of finding the guy on the ground and stabbing him right through the eye socket with the bayonet, and he's done.
Shunk.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I really meant for this to be way more difficult.
We don't mind not dying.
You may have meant for that, but this is what Shadow does.
You can prep a
Honestly, though,
fight,
statistically speaking, by the numbers, this should have been a fight where at least one of y'all died. But I guess I underestimated the power of surprise, which Tim, I guess, didn't underestimate. Good strategy. He was a better strategist than I was, because they just had no chance of preparing for this. So yeah, between surprise and Shadow.
I think that's all part of it. I mean, while it might be more dramatic if we go into a pitch battle and have it be incredibly difficult, I think it's satisfying as a player to think, boy, we really prepped for this correctly. We got some allies in. This went.
And it totally would have been out of character for Tim too, to let you guys go into it if he wasn't sure that Shadow was going to mop him up. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we've got one Black Spiral left at this point, who is
He's got to run into someone soon.
I know exactly what he's going to do if he gets a chance to. But Grudek's next.
Grudek will stay put, and I want to ask if I can use Sense Worm to try to pinpoint location, or is that just more of a general there is worm taint? Because I already know that much.
Guys, I'm not entirely sure these are the right people.
Yeah, Sense Worm isn't that specific. As a level 1
We just
gift,
attacked some poor random bone gnawers who were trying to interrogate Ethan.
If you turned on Sense Worm right now, it would basically just say yes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking through my other gifts and so forth, which, again, that's what Shadow do. This is not so much what Grudek do. I'm like, trash is treasure.
Well,
Turtle body.
Grudek brought
asleep.
the bayonet lady, so...
I'm going to use Turtle body and enter torpor for an hour. No, Grudek is just going to continue to sing. Or rather howl the anthem of war, and will continue to set himself in the way in the eastern passageway, so that if the remaining Black Spiral tries to run that way, he's doing exactly what he was told and staying there.
Okay. So the next thing that happens is...
There's got to be some homeless guy like directly above us wondering what the fuck is this racket?
Because Tim told us to do this quietly, so we've been very quiet this whole time, except for the howling.
In the pitch darkness, basically you hear a stream of extremely colorful, accented curses from Rips, like something straight out of a Guy Ritchie movie. And then you hear a very weird gurgling sound from Tim's direction. And then you hear a lot of motion, but nothing definitive. And then, so next to disease, turn.
Um,
One black spiral in there somewhere, but nobody can see him. And
if he gets through this hallway, it's on me. So I'm going to keep filling this hallway and preparing to stab him if he comes at me.
all right, Thistle.
You said there was some sort of gurgling coming from Tim's direction?
Yep.
Can I get like an intelligence and medicine or something to figure out what that is?
Yeah.
Cool. What difficulty would you put that up?
I'm gonna say difficulty 7.
Cool.
Tim has whipped out his pocket flask of
3
Listerine.
successes. Do I have any idea?
Yeah, that was the sound of Tim getting his throat ripped out.
Okay, so I am.
Shit.
I'll sort of update Tig. Stay there. I'm headed back towards you, but not. And I'm gonna see if I can locate. I don't know if I can smell or something. Locate Tim.
Tig is gonna send back. No, you guard for aftermath. Get here now. I'll take care of it.
How are you gonna take care of an injured person, Tig?
That's what he sends.
Okay.
Thistle can do with that whatever Z chooses.
You're not a healer. I'm going to find Tim.
And Z can just like head in the direction of the gurgle, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
their hearing is pretty good, especially in Krynos form. So,
Right.
but it's still like you add 2 to your difficulty for anything you try to do because of the darkness.
Yeah, fair enough. What's Tim's current rage?
Current rage for Tim is unfortunately off the charts because he's been using silver claws. So his current rage is 8.
Okay, so at a 10, I actually can't make this, but I'm gonna spend the Gnosis point and roll anyway.
Oh, so sad.
You might get some 10s.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I have a lot of dice, but does a 10 succeed if the difficulty is 10?
Yeah, anything
Yeah.
at or above
Okay.
is a success. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought if the difficulty got to 10, you had to re-roll once you rolled a 10 to get another.
No.
It doesn't
No
matter.
pressure. This is not a life or death roll or anything. No pressure.
Well, and Tim can roll his rage to stay up.
Oh, he could
Yeah.
if he wanted to.
Right, but he obviously
Yeah,
doesn't,
that's
but-
why this Ty doesn't know this, but Thistle's very aware that Tim
Jack
is not
knows
going to
this.
try and stay alive. Especially now that the fight's gone our way, pretty much.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm just fuck it rolling. Do I get that bonus from Brudek supporting me?
Yep. You get an extra die.
Okay. So an extra die from that. Okay.
Pretty suspenseful, guys.
You can spend a willpower for an auto success.
Hey-yo!
At least one.
One success, so he heals 1 level of damage.
Which means he's incapacitated, right?
Yep.
Yes.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where his numbers are.
Freaking leavable. Oh, this is gonna lead to some
Some shit.
Conversations, but
because not
I just-
only that was the
Remind-
perfect amount of levels to heal him because you brought him
Yeah.
back to life, but he can't do anything about it.
yeah.
It's
Um,
also looking at your roll. You got 2 10s, but also 1 1.
I know, right?
Boy, that was razor's
Yeah.
edge.
So Grudek singing is the only reason I succeeded that because the 10 was the last die I rolled.
Oh wow! And if you'd healed him even one more level,
He would have just gone right back into the fight. Yeah. So
unbelievable.
I think Thistle just got.
you said I can spend a rage for another action, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, so I'm spending a rage to run back to where Tig is.
Okay.
I think
And
Thistle just got
sending to the group,
Zer's
Tim's
name.
down but not dead. How's everyone else doing? So I think I get back to the tunnel where Tig is.
And Tig, you're up next.
All right. Spending 1 more rage. I want 2 attacks on this motherfucker.
On what motherfucker?
The one that just ripped Tim's throat out. That I can have I would probably have a rough idea of where it is. I know I get 2
So
on
that's
the
what you do.
difficulty
You
there.
launch yourself in the direction of Tim's attacker, the sound that you heard.
Yes.
And
Okay.
hit
that's
Tim.
We'll find out.
If
And
you
that-
do, I'm going.
And that's no ears, right?
Yeah, No Ears is the only one left.
No Ears is the one that's still alive, but you're launching yourself in Tim's direction, right?
Well, wherever I thought No Ears was at that point.
Are you okay? You got to tell me
Okay.
what direction are you
All right.
launching yourself in? Are you launching yourself at Tim, or are you launching yourself at where you think No Ears is?
I'm launching myself at where I think No Ears is.
Which is where?
Based on what just happened.
Or is it the last place you saw him when the lights were still on? Is that where you're launching yourself at?
No. Actually, all right, here's what I'll do. Tig will spend his rage initially to take an action to try and see if he can pinpoint the location of the last, using hearing primarily, probably. Try and pinpoint the location of the last standing black spiral.
By hearing, he can't. Everyone's sloshing around in the water pretty much simultaneously. Remember, you've got a whole bunch of
there's also a really
allies
loud
too.
howl going on right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to think what.
The only unique sound that you could target anything by was Tim's death gurgle.
Tim's death gurgle. Okay. In that case, he is going to make a quick circuit around where he heard Tim's death gurgle and see if he crashes into anybody.
Okay.
That's his first action.
Okay. And he does not. So what's his second action?
Broaden the radius. Then he's doing a blind man's scout, basically trying to cover as much area in this.
Okay. He slams head on into. I'm trying to figure out if he could probably identify who he ran into. Silver Glare.
Okay.
As she is doing something very similar, just blundering around blindly, trying to find the last black spiral.
Okay.
Shadow, this isn't working. We need to find them.
All right. So that's it. That's his turn then.
So Greta's up next.
Can she try to sniff out the remaining black spiral?
I mean, with as much success as anyone else. What senses is she using? And
I mean, what role would that be? Perception and alertness?
Yeah.
She's not. She's not running around.
Isn't it my turn
doing
before?
the
It's my turn
airplane.
before hers.
That's true. We do go
wait.
after.
Oh wait.
Shadow.
Yeah, I skipped a bunch of people actually. Next actually is Earless. He's the one who's left, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Earless gets to go next.
Although I
So
think he already went if he killed Tim.
if he did, but also he can spend rage too. Remember, people.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Also, I don't think that.
Also, I don't think
that-
Airless is the one that did that.
yeah, he's not. He's totally not. Spoiler alert. But you'll find that out when
Yeah,
the lights are back
no
on. And you can
shit.
tell the wounds were done with silver. Okay. So the next thing actually that happens is that someone blunders face first into C.
And I stab them.
Do you notify perhaps Shadow that they're there?
I'm in the middle of stabbing them right now, so you're gonna have to wait for my turn
Well,
to come back.
Okay, how does this work though? If C already took his turn,
My turn was to hold for someone to
Yeah.
come to me.
So that would
Yeah.
mean
Okay.
C's turn is
Attack.
now, basically.
So
So-
yeah, the
Okay.
stab happens.
okay, so go for it.
First, I'm going to stab with the sword.
Okay, so roll for that.
Which will be dexterity melee. 1 success, because I'm not great at this.
While you were out running in the darkness, I stabbed with the blade.
And then difficulty was wrong there, but at difficulty 8, it would have had the same result. So, and then
No, at difficulty 8, it would have been 0 successes because
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
1 would have canceled the 8.
Yeah,
I was intending to spend the willpower anyway. I didn't mention it. Oh well.
so that would be 0 successes then.
Can I spend the willpower for that to get 1 auto success? That's up to the storyteller at that point because I intended to call it out, but I didn't.
Ask me again. I was reading a
Can I spend a willpower point for an auto success on that one? Because I
Sure.
intended to call it out, but I didn't do it.
Sure, why not?
All right, so 1 success, which will be just a base hit. And then no extra successes. It's 4 damage to soak, 4 lethal.
Okay. And that's the same roll as to soak aggravated, right?
Yes.
Where are you, Earless?
Lethal's just easier to heal.
Yeah, lethal you can regen on your turn.
Okay. So C lashes out with the sword and manages to. Where are you aiming at, C?
I'm just trying to drive straight through the abdomen.
Okay. Yeah. So C's sword actually manages to gouge its way roughly into the center of the guru's body, and in the process of trying to wrench himself off of it, he slices it almost like sideways through himself, and you can actually hear the sound of him still alive, but actually falling to the floor at C's feet.
And I was going to spend a rage for 1 more attack.
Okay.
Reverse grip.
And no, this time he actually with the as he rips the sword out, he kind of leans in very close and just kind of almost muttering, "I swore I'd rip your throat out for what you did to my family." And I'm just going to gouge at his throat with my claws, which have Fangs of Judgment active right now. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
active 8 right now. And I have an extra die for this, so attack modifier because of the.
And yep.
For the
Does
song.
he qualify as being prone right now? Did he actually fall to the ground?
Yep.
Okay, so it's actually back down to 6.
Yep. Come on, Judgment.
That's 3 10s. Too bad I don't have a specialization.
I know, right?
And then 1 extra damage. 5 aggravated damage to soak from the Claws of Judgment.
All right, Earless.
He soaks it.
With your pitiful 5 stamina, even in Krynos form. How many was he supposed to
so
soak?
to be clear,
5.
it definitely was earless. C didn't just kill Silverglare or Bridge Runner or something.
Nope, that was Earless making a run for it.
Okay, good.
I'm pretty certain everybody knows that if they go in especially in the complete pitch darkness, if they tried to leave one of the tunnels, whoever was there would attack them.
Just wanted to be clear.
Yeah.
They would have at least said, "See, it's me,"
Get
and
out of the way.
Charlie still would have stabbed him. But you know,
Probably, yeah. Yeah, they knew there was no way out. So yeah, see, with his claws, just rips Earless' throat out, and a terrible silence descends, and the light, what little light there was, comes back, as it was Earless who had made the darkness.
It's not quite so silent because we're still howling. And the howl of the anthem of war slowly turns into like sort of a T-Rex-esque howl of victory.
Grudex is going to stop, but he does not join in on the victory howl yet.
Okay. And the 3 Nosferatu that came with Greta are like the first thing that anyone says is one of them to Greta. So like, can we leave or?
Greta looks
has the
around. Does she
darkness
see?
lifted or no?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
back to the normal low light of the sewer.
Does she see anything?
Does who see?
Does Greta see anything
Everybody
around?
can now see the entirety of the carnage with your regular low light wolfy vision in Krynos form. I don't know about Greta. I don't know if Nosferatu can see in the dark, but it's super dark. There's just barely like It's
Most vampires have some level of dark vision.
Yeah.
She snorts in response and says, "Well, since you all didn't do any work during the actual battle, you got some work to do now. Come on. I said we got to do cleanup. Look around."
Oh man.
I'm checking
these are
for
like-
injured people, stuff like that.
You can tell these are the vampire version of like teenagers, and they're not into this, but they do as she asks.
Tag is checking
Start.
around to see if these guys had any cool shit.
Don't make me make you clean up your nest. Come on. Let's
There's
get
lots
this
of shit around, but not the kind you want to take with you.
Okay, good to know.
It's less cool shit and more room temperature shit.
Some even
Slightly below body temperature shit. Yeah.
some still slightly warm, possibly.
Yeah.
The Nosferatu said about locating the mangled black spiral corpses and trying to drag them into like one pile to do whatever they're going to do with them. And Tim, one of them actually grabs Tim, not being able to tell anybody.
I can take that one.
Oh, is that one of yours? Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's no big deal.
And Tim is breathing, but otherwise, barely breathing, but otherwise kind of
Can
not.
I tell, like, was it Fang? Claws, something like that got Tim.
Do an intelligence and medicine roll, difficulty 7.
Okay.
Just while Fishel's rolling that, just to give you an idea, Grudek is at this point, if everybody else is coming out of the tunnels, will also be leaving the tunnels and will shift into Krynos and approach the Krynos that's on the floor.
Tag's still in his bow, but following Grudek.
Yeah. So aside from Tim, obviously 2 successes, but aside from Tim, the presumably Morning Cloud's kid, and I think Shadow got hit again. Is anyone else injured?
I didn't get hit again.
Okay.
The tied up Krynos on the floor also appears to be incapacitated, breathing but otherwise unresponsive.
Yeah, that's where Grudek is going.
Yeah.
2 successes to figure out Tim.
Oh, 2 successes. Okay. It looks like claw marks on the throat.
Okay.
I, as a player, have a guess, but I don't think Grudek does.
I'm walking over towards where Thistle and Tim are.
Thistle's kind of looking to see at this point. You mentioned that we can whisper now.
Yep. No problem making noise now.
No, whisper in the
link.
brain chat.
Direct message.
Yes, that thing. What do you want me to do? Seems like the fight's over. He's breathing. I can heal 2 more people magically, but I have some medicine stuff that I ditched back when I was changing that I can go grab.
Let's get everyone back to safety, shall we?
That
is okay.
Okay. So
As C plants his sword into the throat of No Ears, just as an extra final measure, draws it out, wipes it off with his hand, sheets it, and reverts to Hamid.
Question, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Tag's looking around. Obviously, Tim's incapacitated. Who? I assume Silverglare is the next highest ranking.
Yeah,
member
and she's
present,
on her
or
way
Rips?
over. She's on her way over to Tim at the moment. Rips is actually, for some reason, helping the vampires drag the corpses into a pile. Maybe
Rips
because
like
he thinks
torches.
they look spindly and aren't good at dragging Krynos.
So Michelle, given my general understanding of how my own abilities work that Aaron just lacks, with like the first aid supplies that Thistle has, would I be able to make a non-magical intelligence and medicine to get Tim to the point where he's awake, or no?
No. The damage that was done to him is severe enough that only time is going to make any headway in healing it.
All right, then I'll burn another Mother's Touch. Is his rage still 10, or does that go down once he stops using the silver?
Well, the 10 was actually his rage was 8, and then it was a +2 because of the situation. So it'd probably be a difficulty 8 now. Though, like, how much rage can you have when you're incapacitated? He still has the. How does that work? I guess
I genuinely don't know.
He's taking a grumpy nap.
Rage is mystical, so I guess it's still difficulty 8.
It's Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, is what it is.
Difficulty 8. He's angry even when unconscious.
He's always angry.
That's his secret.
No, I thought you said something about silver having driven it up. I wasn't sure if that.
Well, that's why his rage was 8 to begin with. It started lower, and then he got an extra rage point every turn he was using Silver Claws. So it was 8 by the time he got incapacitated. But his claws are no longer silver because once he lost consciousness, in fact, he'd be in Hamid form now, wouldn't he?
Yes.
As far as
so he's got no claws, no nothing.
Okay.
Except his 8 rage.
So 8, you said?
Yeah.
Great. Can I spend a willpower if I need to spend a gnosis on an ability?
Really quick, I'm going to just.
I believe so.
Because it'll be useful. Because it'll be useful, I'm going to spend a gnosis to use my inspiration ability to give everybody a free point of willpower. So you have an extra point of willpower if you want to use it, Aaron.
So I think I technically use it and then get an extra point of willpower because I'm currently at max, but
yeah,
however
it's a free one beyond your max, so it doesn't fall into that paradigm.
So yeah, I'll use that, whatever it.
And you stay at max, and then you can use a gnosis. If you have
Mother's Touch, and I spent a willpower 2 successes, so he gets 2 damage levels back.
Okay, it says 1 success on the thing.
The willpower for an extra success.
I spent for a.
Okay, I understand now. So that puts him at what health level then?
That would put him at wounded. Sorry, mauled. Put him at mauled.
Mauled. Okay, so he's -5 on everything but
-2.
Yeah, crippled is -5. He's at mauled.
Okay, -2 conscious. Okay, so he
Thistle is trying to be sure that Z is the first thing he sees, so he hopefully doesn't just go and start stabbing things.
Yeah, so he opens his eyes and he looks slightly disoriented for a moment, and then he just sort of stares at Thistle with this completely dead expression on his face and just says, "Fuck."
And I'll sort of nod to Silverglare at that point because...
Tim, they're all dead. We got them. Everybody's fine. You don't look fine. What's wrong? We won. She sort of looks down at him, and he just has this 1,000-yard stare and says nothing.
I think we should be getting on our way.
C will walk over to Tim and just kind of, with his hand sort of outstretched to help him up, in the eyes of the Half Moon, this is a redemption for our failures in letting it get this far.
You're not the only Half Moon I have to deal with. He slowly and painfully gets to his feet, and he just looks, his eyes are just far away.
Thistle will sort of move over towards Grudek and Greta. You said that you were all right taking over for cleanup?
Yeah, no problem. We'll have everything tidied away. Anybody who comes down here won't find anything other than maybe a little bit of rubble.
It's appreciated. Thank you.
Well, thanks for bringing us in. It's good to have the sewers back. And she smiles at Thistle and then turns and reaches out and taps, because Grudek is in Krynos, but he's crouching down, kind of taps Grudek on the shoulder and says, You did good, Yorick. You and your friends. Your grandma'd be proud. And Krudek looks up from where he's... I think he's probably in the process of untying the kid, the Metis. And he looks up and says, "We'll be sure to tell her you said hello next time we speak." And Greta turns and just sort of stands back and watches the three young idiot Nosferatu finish the cleanup.
Tig, sorry, go ahead.
Bridge Runner makes his way over to now that he's sort of gotten the go-ahead from Tim that everything's all over and he doesn't have to guard his post anymore. He goes over to the young teenage Metis that's incapacitated and being untied at the moment, and he crouches down and lays his hands on him, and the kid takes a big shuddering breath and opens his eyes and immediately lets out this howl of terror, but then stops halfway through and looks around and realizes he doesn't recognize anybody that he's looking at, and he stops making sounds entirely and just looks around with huge eyes. He's completely hairless Metis, but otherwise fairly normal shaped.
Krudek says, "It's okay. It's all over. We are friends of your mother, and we've gotten vengeance on those who killed your family. You're safe."
And he just shakes his head.
Can I get an empathy roll? Insight something.
Can Ty get one of those too?
Should I roll one for that initial statement?
What are we? What are we actually rolling?
Let's go around the room.
Yeah, one at a time. What are you trying to do?
I just want to make sure he's calm and is not freaking out.
The kid. Okay, yeah. So go ahead and roll like perception and empathy, I guess. Or are you trying to do a thing to him, or are you just trying to tell?
I'm trying to talk to him and make him calm.
Oh, you're trying to soothe him, so that would be charisma and empathy, I think.
Okay.
Difficulty 7.
Okay.
I was hoping to get a wits and empathy in the context of what we already talked about with it'll be hard to tell how brainwashed / acclimated he might be. Okay. And Thistle's independent understanding of traumatic experiences.
Okay. That'll be difficulty 7 for you as well. And Yurek, Krudek, when you start talking to him, he does seem to visibly relax. And Thistle, it becomes apparent to you as you study this kid's behavior that mostly the source of his confusion is that he has no idea what any of you are saying.
Thistle will look to see, I feel like, and through the mind link, I feel like this is an odd context where I say, please phone your mother.
Right, he doesn't speak anything but Tarson.
Yeah.
Could she talk over the phone with him or something at least?
I don't think I can get reception in the sewers.
Yes, obviously. We need to get out of here first.
Michelle, Tig is, having heard that exchange, is trying to figure out what's up with Tim right now and see if he can pinpoint what's really going on with him.
Okay, so that'd be perception and empathy, I think. Difficulty 6.
Okay. And with perception and empathy, given that he has 3 dots in pure breed, which basically makes social things a lot easier for him, can he incorporate that background on this roll?
No, because it's a perception thing and not a him trying to give anything across. He's not trying to present anything. Yeah.
All right.
And just for clarity's sake, I actually screwed up the way I did my first roll. I made it a modifier 7 instead of a difficulty 7. So I fixed that and said it's a difficulty 7 with no modifier, and I re-rolled it, and I got 4 successes.
Oh, that's still enough to call.
So, but just to be totally fair.
Perception and empathy, 2 successes, Michelle.
Okay. So Tim he just looks like he just doesn't give a fuck anymore about anything. He just looks like he's just done. Basically he's done with a capital D.
Right.
is what
But
Tig-
the reference to having to contend with another new moon and things like that, that
Half moon.
sounds very, or
Half-
half moon, sorry, another half moon. That sounds very incriminating. Is Tig
yeah.
able to pick up on?
Between his my life is over expression and him mentioning that he's going to have to contend with a half moon, Tig can pretty much come to the conclusion that he's expecting to be judged and that it will be the end of him. So,
Okay. Thistle, over the mind link directly to you. Is Tim guilty of something? Except with the correct accent, because I just blanked on that.
Fine. Thistle's just in the wits and stress pile right now, so back also privately. Oh, well. Fuck. Why did I play a character that has a specialty in retorts?
Thistle says something extremely clever. Use your imagination.
No, no. I just, as a person, needed to take a second. Thistle will sort of back to Tig. I'm sure things will come out eventually, to the extent to which they should. But as much as I know it's your job to put your nose places, can we at least wait until we're out of the sewers?
And in a very sort of non sequitur kind of vibe to it, back across the whisper. Not for sure. How much money can you spare?
You know, if these fucking guru would ever let me go to town and do my job at some internet cafe, I would happily pay you. So I'll pay you when I get paid a month from now. Have 3 weeks.
Well, it's not for me, but I understand. And Tig sneaks off down the west tunnel, headed for the exit.
And Thistle will... But if this is about that date you mentioned, I'm going to have a conversation with you about power dynamics that I feel like we really should have had.
And about halfway through that sentence, he's gone from the mind link.
While all of that was happening, Shadow was over messing... for the first time, not being 100% his serious self, messing with Rips, because he noticed that Rips wasn't pulling his weight in that fight.
Yeah, Thistle was probably not particularly sneaky about having that conversation, and was probably by the end like gesticulating in Tig's direction.
Yeah.
Rips's answer to
gesticulating with no words.
Shadow is way too profane for me to quote exactly, so just use your imagination. And it goes on for a while, like
they
paragraphs, like a Shakespearean sonnet worth of.
I feel like the two of them are bullshitting back and forth right now over the fact that, I mean, all I'm saying is, I had 5 on me and was fine. You were hanging back behind me and didn't get your claws dirty.
And his responses are just all the various things that, he's going to do to Shadow's mom and probably Shadow too, and anybody that Shadow, has ever even talked to. Just casually describing all the various things that he's going to do if he doesn't shut the...
Arun
but I like it in Shakespearean format. It's like, shall I beep, beep, your mom and beep, let me count the ways.
And Silverglare figures out pretty quickly that Tim is no longer giving orders. She keeps looking to him and looking to him and looking to him, and finally she just fucking takes over and is like, okay, you go here and you go here and you do that, and let's get everybody out of here, and you've got cleanup under control. Rips, you're with me. And she orders everybody out of their respective tunnels and like, let's get the top side as soon as we can. Everybody's on their feet now. Bridge Runner, stay with the kid. Thistle, stay with Tim. And so, yeah, and everybody is now exiting the sewers. Unless any of you really want to stay down there for any other reason. As
we exit, I go up to C and put a still Krynos form paw on his shoulder. Good kill, C.
You know, that seems a little disingenuous after you just ripped 3 or 4 of them asunder with just your hands.
That's my job. As I roll to see if I can get back to Hamid form.
I can automatically get back to Hamid form, right?
Yeah, because it's your breed form.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Breed form's not a problem.
Yeah, and you're all going to need to be Hamid, or I guess you couldn't climb up the ladder in Lupus, so everybody
Someone
needs to
could
be
carry
Hamid.
you up
Oh,
Lupus, but yeah.
I should have taken a lot less damage than I actually did. I forgot I have a specialty in stamina called Unbreakable. I would have been fine.
Whatever,
It
turned out
was
fine.
cinematic.
Yeah. So you all
I'm back in Hamid form.
leave the sewers, and there's a rendezvous point that Tim had arranged before all of this for whenever we're done. Whoever's left alive will meet up at I guess like right outside that bar where you met to begin with. So everybody makes their way there once they've made their way out of their respective tunnels. You still split up to leave because it's single file out,
Michelle, I sent you a whisper in Roll20. Does Tag find what he's looking for?
Perception and streetwise difficulty 7.
Yeah,
As that's going on, Thistle will... I believe I need to throw at least one of you a shirt. From what I remember about our attuned outfits.
3 successes.
Okay, so yes, you find what you're looking for. And then now you need to do, I'm going to say dexterity and larceny, difficulty 6.
Okay. And he will spend a willpower to get an automatic success on this in addition to whatever he rolls.
Okay.
4 successes then total.
So you're good to go.
Thistle across the private the private mind link.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Thistle. Ask your dad if he wants to go back to the Sept or not. If he doesn't, give him what cash you can and send him to... And he gives you an intersection.
Thistle, give me a second. What's Tag's Okay, Jack, this is a question for you. What's the difficulty and roll for lying to someone?
Generally, it would be a manipulation and subterfuge if you're trying to tell a lie. As far as difficulty on that goes, that would be up to Michelle.
Oh, I was trying to... I thought it was some stat plus a different stat or something.
No, usually telling a lie to someone is manipulation and subterfuge, and then the difficulty is whatever the
No, that's
storyteller
why
decides.
I said I thought that
Oh, okay. I see
Who
what you mean.
are you lying to?
Tig.
Oh. Then I'm going to make that difficulty 8
Okay.
for a number of reasons.
Wow.
There's nothing... Actually, so technically you always roll 1 die, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let me actually roll a die.
Oh, wow.
in a marginally convincing way, you just hear a short, yeah, sure, back from Thistle.
Okay. Tag will wait 5 minutes and then send the exact same message over the entire non-private mind link. Can somebody have Thistle get back to me on what her dad said to that question?
What question?
The one I asked her to ask Tim.
Thistle, what did Tim say to that question over the mind link? Because it goes to everyone.
Can we see Thistle at all?
Like we're all exiting through.
I don't know how we split up.
Yeah,
so.
we're all in separate
We all
areas.
came out different.
Yeah, Thistle's with
different
Tim.
manhole. I think Grudek's actually all by himself.
Yeah.
Because the vampires didn't come up.
Yeah, C would have been heading back with Thistle if possible. But C and Thistle are more on the same page regarding this.
Yeah. Thistle will privately to Tig, and then separately privately to C, and then separately privately to Grudek. Say, please leave it.
You just get sort of the from Grudek. You just get back sort of the concept of a nod and a hug.
And C, since he's next to you, just visibly nods to you.
Yep. Yeah, so to Tig
And Thistle gets
privately.
a very, very cold, judgmental vibe. For someone who's intent and has a great deal of value placed on individuals being able to make their own choices as far as their future and destiny's concerned, you're certainly failing rather horribly. And I apologize if you don't like what I'm doing. But if you don't ask him, I'll come back and do it myself. I just think it would be easier for him coming from you.
I know.
I'll see you in a bit.
And Thistle just sort of falls over in the tunnel.
And Tag starts making his way back towards the rendezvous point.
Okay. And so Thistle was with Tim and C, right?
Yeah.
And they were still making their way out of the tunnel, and Thistle has now, did you say fallen over?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
in the
Splash.
sewage?
Yep.
And
C
Tim,
kind of.
Tim still looks very vague and like he's not fully noting anything about his surroundings, but just almost half consciously bends down and tries to pick Zur up.
Thistle, stand back up. Sorry, it's the first time I've been in a fight like that. Sorry.
It gets easier. And then he sort of helps Zur toward the ladder and gives Zur a
Yep.
bit of a lift
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Once Thistle starts climbing the ladder, C kind of looks at Tim and looks at the ladder at Thistle. You know you've got a lot more to live for right now than just yourself.
I don't know that it's up to me anymore. We'll see what they say.
What's
Can
up
we-
to you is what's up to you is what you do now and what you want to happen next. It will make their judgments too, of course. But how you feel and where you plan to go from here isn't irrelevant. And I'm gonna see if I can intercept Tig, knowing roughly the direction he would have to be coming from, and being
I gave you the intersection.
Thistle's gonna try and get to Tig before he can get to Tim.
Meanwhile, C is going to just guide Tim back to a vehicle to get him back to.
Well, back to the rendezvous point.
Yeah, back to the
It's within
rendezvous.
walking distance, so you can all just converge there on foot.
Shadow and Rips have kicked over at least 3 trash cans on the way back because
Ty honestly would not be trying to circumvent anything. So yeah, if Thistle's putting out any effort whatsoever, Z can probably intercept him. Not too difficult.
Okay, keeping in mind that Thistle's strength is 1, which means a twig, is grabbing Tig's shoulder and pulling him off to the side at the meeting point.
He does not resist whatsoever.
Looking directly at him. Hesitation's pretty much gone now. But doing this psychically privately because there's always a risk of being overheard, and this sure as hell is a weird thing to have someone overhear random people talking about in the street. Next to an area of the city cornered off for road construction. You said that I value self-determination, the ability for people to make their own decisions, people's ability to determine their own future.
That's what I understand.
It is. So you're going to listen to me very carefully. You're not going to interfere. You're going to help my dad if he asks you to, and not before. And you know why? Because there are 2 tribes in the Sept right now with a lot of members, and there's a lot of tension between them. And I have done everything I can to make it as easy as possible, as feasible as possible for as many people from both of those tribes and all of the other ones that happen to be around. And to get as many opportunities as possible to make those decisions. And if a child of Gaia disappears after having betrayed the tribe like this, even if he genuinely helped us stop this, whatever he may have done, what that means is that tension rises, that distrust continues even more than it's already there. And I don't need a Fiena sticking your stupid ragabash nose where it doesn't belong.
Are you done?
You deserve to know why. I'm done.
Now it's my turn to do a bit of talking. I'll be 10 minutes or so late getting back because there's a hot-wired car that I have to turn off so that the owner doesn't run out of gasoline. And I apologize for overstepping my bounds. I'm a bit used to solving my own problems and trying to get things settled as quickly as possible. I appreciate your insight. And if he does need a stolen car at any point, you know where to point. But I'll beg your understanding and forgiveness for being a bit reactionary this evening.
We're both more used to hot wiring a car and taking whatever money we need out of the local cash register.
Can you buy me about 15 minutes then?
Yeah.
All right, I'll meet you back in just a few. And he goes off to cover his tracks.
This will cut over to Grudek and whispering, not psychically, but whispering, inform him that Tyke is getting a lot of fun little surprises for his date. So if we could just stall for a few minutes while he had something, that's great.
Back over the mind link comes a projection of the scene from the end of Casablanca, where Captain Renault goes, "I'm shocked."
Gambling going.
Does Ty pass Shadow and Rips on his way back to wherever?
Fuck no.
Okay.
It's like avoiding anyone else's sight.
And then I'm just trusting Grudek to not manage to keep that completely under wraps. Enough that we can buy the time Tag needs.
So Ty goes back, pulls a piece of chalk out of his pocket, and underneath the dashboard where the wires have been pulled out to hotwire this thing, scrawls a little "sorry" sad face, locks the car, makes sure it turns off, closes the door, makes sure it's locked, and walks back to the rendezvous.
However, whatever point next that Shadow sees Tig, Shadow very loudly goes, "Did you get the answer you were looking for?" to Tig.
Aye, no, we got it all cleared up.
Good. And then goes back to whatever the rest of the party is doing. Because he doesn't know what the fuck happened.
Once everybody's at the rendezvous point, they just split back up into cars and head back to the Sept.
I'm making sure I'm in Tim's car to slightly decrease the likelihood he will drive off a cliff.
So is C.
I think we all went in Tim's car, so we're probably all there.
Yeah.
That works.
Although I do want to ride back in the car with the kid, with Morning Cloud's kid.
All right. So here's the thing. It's we got to stop, but there's obviously a little bit of wrap up that needs to be done. So I don't know if we need to have like just a short little coda next week, or
you can just
how we got to do this.
You can just wrap up, like just narrate the end if you'd like.
Yeah.
Does that satisfy everybody?
Oh yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
We can go.
All right. So when you get back to the Sept, by the time you get back there, it appears that Tim has made up his mind, and everyone is obviously ecstatic and runs and hugs you and thumps you on the back and congratulates you, and there's lots of howling and tearing, and Tim just kind of stands in the middle of it all like a statue. And when T-Tree comes out to get his report, he tells her exactly what happened, and then he confesses to what he did. And so she listens impassively to his confession, and then she says, "You can stay with us until the next moot and wrap up your affairs, and I will pass my judgment at that time." And although she doesn't say it directly, there's a note in her voice that strongly calls to mind to everybody the death penalty, basically, the Guru version thereof, that he will not be allowed to continue. But she's giving him almost another full month, because they had a moot the night before you guys arrived, and you've been here less than a week. So he's got another few weeks to just say his goodbyes and wrap everything up, and then he will be as honorably as possible executed in Guru fashion. And Silver Glare will take his place as Karen Warder. And he seems, when he hears that note of finality in her voice, he just sort of nods stoically and seems satisfied. And then he just basically just turns and walks toward his tent and just disappears to spend some time alone. The girls are utterly thrilled to see all of you coming back, and they take turns throwing their arms around you and hugging you. Even Bailey and Hannah, who are not really the huggy types. Bailey, because she's very shy and hardly ever talks to anyone, but seems to have a little bit more feeling in her hugging. You know, Hannah almost hugs reluctantly, but like she can't help herself. And Estrella, of course, is all over everybody, just jumping up and down and squealing and hugging and talking about what heroes you are. And she gives Ty a couple of kisses on his cheeks and is just running around like a little hummingbird, super excited. And even March Lion manages to get up and drag his depressed lupus ass over and he doesn't even shift into Hamid form. He just comes over in lupus form and he sits down next to where you all are and just lifts his head and lets out a long howl to welcome you back. And that is where we're going to leave it. And we'll see what becomes of this little group, hopefully next season.
All right. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for watching.
Join us next week for Changeling Season 2.